Hello, welcome. It's time to kickstart your journey, your client journey, and your own journey as well. So let's dive right into it. I don't want to waste too much time. We want to get through this one pretty quickly and then we'll actually start mapping. So here's what we're going to cover. Welcome to Map It Out. Hey, welcome. Did we do that one already? Setting you up for success. I want you to win. So I'm going to do everything in my power to help you with that. Course objectives and key topics, what we're going to be covering throughout the entirety of the course here, and how to get help. So please, and ask up front. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's much more exclusive content there. That's my Instagram handle there, Up Insights Oz. My business name with Australia on the end. Plenty of really good value for you there. Please check it out. Plenty more to come as well. And please share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community. The more people we bring in, the more it can grow and change and turn into something super valuable. Add some value to it. A warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. But a pro tip, if you watch the video in 2x speed, it's a lot quicker. I prefer actually 1.5x, but whatever you like. Get you to the end quicker, get you through it, learn as much. If it's a 20-minute video, we want to chop that down to 10 or 15. So, welcome to Map It Out. Now that we've got all that admin out of the way. So what is journey mapping? Visualizing the client's experience from first contact to loyalty. So all the way from when they very first learn about your brand, they learn about you, they've heard of you, through to becoming engaged with you, subscribing, converting to a customer, getting excited about what you have to deliver, ascending through your different offers if you have them. If you don't, then maybe continuing to purchase from you. That's ascension in itself, is sticking with you. Then becoming an advocate of your business, and finally a promoter. So those are all the stages in really quick succession there that we're going to try and take them through. And we're going to map all of that out. So theory meets practice, learn concepts and apply them directly to your business. We're not going to do a whole bunch of theory. It'll be learning as we go, as we build. I'll be teaching you more and more things about the theoretical side, but the point is to get you in the platform and mapping as quickly as possible, and we'll be using Miro for that. But that being said, that's what I recommend. That's what I have. That's what the templates are based in. If you want to use something else, if you want to use pen and paper, absolutely fine. We will achieve the same goals. A roadmap for success. Create a map that drives client satisfaction and growth. So this is what you'll be getting out of it. We want to have that full map there to help your clients achieve the most value from you so that they're happy and they leave reviews, they create referrals and recurring revenue for you. So we've got the 3 R's there. So all of that is set up to not only give your clients as much help as possible, but grow your business as well and make life easier for you. That's the whole point of all of this. And building structure. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your coaching business, this course will help bring clarity and structure. So by having all of this mapped out and referring to it on a regular basis, coming back to it, using it as your foundation for automations and anything that you're building, it makes such a big difference to have that clear somewhere that you can look at it. I know so many coaches who have just held it in their heads, and when I've done this exercise with them, they've said it's like it is literally a load off their mind. They can just look at it and go, oh yes, it's all here. I don't have to remember all of it. Because remembering is difficult. I have a bad memory sometimes. Setting you up for success. Okay, let's get into some of the tools we're going to play with. Yes, setting you up for success. So, Miro board setup. Your Miro board will be all set up and ready for mapping. So let's do that right now. So I'll switch over to Miro here. So you should have a link to sign up for Miro and then a link for this particular board, this template. So in this, we'll see we've got a specific mapping template here with a bit of a flow chart. So this is the format that we'll be using. We've got our start and end points here are these black ovals, oblongs, buttons. Then we've got a green positive step. A decision is this diamond here. and then another positive step, and we've got a yes and no and a negative step here. So it just helps us make it really clear, really easy. Honestly, the whole thing will be pretty much this. It will of course get more complicated as we add more and more points into more and more decisions, but we want to keep it simple. We want to keep it very, very simple and easy to read. So that's what we're looking at here. You'll also have some notes up the top here, so you can, if you want to add more to this, drag and drop them, type in whatever you think is necessary, copy them. We've also got an automation template down the bottom here. That's not for right now, but you can have a look at that if you like. We'll come back to that later. Now, once you open this up, you won't be able to get into it straight away. So you will just need to go into main menu up the top here, board, and make a copy. So when you click that make a copy, it will ask you to enter a new board name. You can just call it copy, or you can add your own business name to it, whatever you like. But this will be your journey map going forward. And I am looking to enhance this template a bit. It might look different by the time you're getting here, because as I go through the course, as I talk with more and more people, I want to add cool new things to it. If when you open it, you think there's something in there that I'd like, or there's something not in there that I'd like to have in there, let me know. And we'll see if it's worth putting in. But yeah, just click this copy button here and you'll be ready to go. So that's your Miro board setup. Checklist. So you'll have a copy of your checklist to track your progress in this course. So let's have a look at the checklist here. This is it, and I will shrink my head so we can see it all. So these are just all of the steps that you'll need to take, the action steps throughout the course. I might tweak and change this as well a little bit, but the way it will work as you go is you've got your action, create your Miro account, some details on that. So sign up for Miro if you don't have an account already, which lesson it aligns with. So if you start getting down here to mapping the path, you know you've not meant to do that yet. But once everything's done, so once you've finished that, you've created your Miro account, you tick the box, and hey, we're 3.57% complete. And I've tried to break this down as much as possible to get you quick wins early on. As we go further down, some of them might be a bit more complex. You can get a little sneak peek of what's going to happen as well if you want to do that. But these will all be happening along with the course. So yeah, you can tick those off, and as you go, you'll see by the end of this video, you should already be 14% done. But I might add more steps. We'll see. Okay, and then course structure. This is pretty important for your success. You need to know where we're going, what we're doing, and you need to have a clear overview of the course objectives and the key topics included in the course. So let's do that right now. Course objectives and key topics. So course objectives, you'll map your client journey, refine it using inversion thinking, and build a basic automation framework. So that's what you should have at the end of this course, is a fully mapped client journey that's been had inversion thinking applied to it, which we'll talk about in more detail in a moment, and build out that first automation framework that you can use, get a bit of an automation mindset going, so that once you've mapped that journey, we can start to put it all together, automate some of it, because it will be a lot. So the key topics we'll be covering throughout the course, mapping out the basic journey, a very, very basic journey. We're talking like a purchase here, where someone comes in, sees something that you have, buys it, experiences it, and leaves. So that'll be the very first thing that we do, is just map that out. We're going to use inversion thinking to refine your map, even that very basic map. So inversion thinking is looking at all the ways that we can make it a negative experience and flipping that. So if we think of everything that could be terrible, like on this video, if the sound was awful, if you couldn't see me, if I was going too fast and you could not understand anything, that would be terrible. So we try and flip that, make sure the sound's good, make sure the video's good, make sure I'm not going too fast, which I might be, especially if you're going on double speed. But the alternative of that is if I was going really, really slow and being really, really boring, and it took you an hour to get through this. That would also be really bad. So we need to find that happy medium there. But yeah, that's a bit of quick inversion thinking for you of how can I make it horrible, and let's not do those things. Let's do the opposite. Reverse mapping to ensure consistency. So we're going to go backwards from the middle of the journey when someone buys and becomes a customer to the start point to try and make sure that's consistent, that it all fully aligns. And then we're going to look at extending the journey past the purchase point to promote client advocacy. So what can we do after they buy to make sure they have the best experience possible? They get the most value out of what you have to offer. They have big wins, and they become your biggest advocate, your biggest promoter. And if we can do that for every single client, I mean, they can't all be the biggest, but let's try. Some more objectives or some more topics that we're going to cover. Building out an automation framework. So I'm going to show you how to map those out and how to think in a bit of an automation style. The trick to that is being really simple with your thinking. Computers aren't as smart as we think they are. I guess they're pretty smart, but they follow instructions perfectly. They're very pedantic. So we have to get it right. We have to give simple, clear instructions. Identifying and closing gaps. So once the journey is mapped out, we're going to walk through it and see if we can find any little holes that people might fall through as they're going through that journey. And this is where inversion thinking is pretty helpful as well. We're going to finalize a client-centric journey. So this is your entire journey. I think the key word there is client-centric. Everything that we're building is designed to serve your clients, is to make it as good an experience for them as possible. That is our goal. That is my goal with everything that I build, is to make it as good for you as possible. If I'm not doing that, please let me know, because I want to make this valuable. I want to make it worthwhile, and I want it to serve you. And finally, implementing and iterating on the journey map. So once we have the journey map, we're not going to just put it away in a drawer. I'm going to get you set up so you can start implementing that and start improving it, put processes in place for continuous improvement to keep making that better, keep coming back to it, keep refining it, because it can always improve. I guarantee you that. So how to get help? It's fairly easy. So a couple of things. You're in the value add community now. So ask the community. Help each other out. There are plenty of fantastic minds in this group, and you are one of them. So don't just ask, tell. If you figure something out that you think was a bit unclear, post in the community about it, but also ask. If you're not sure, ask. Someone may be further along and can help you out with it. Also, tag me in your post. So I'm on school almost every day and will do my best to answer. So if you're asking the community, you're asking me as well. So maybe you've asked a question that no one's thought to ask, and that might be something I can come back and add into the course. But yeah, more than happy to respond to you as quickly as possible. I'm on there pretty much every day. So I would be shocked if it took me more than 24 hours to respond. But depending on when you're watching this, I'm going away for 2 weeks in September. I'll edit this part out after September's passed, but give me that grace period. DM me. If for whatever reason you're not comfortable posting, please feel free to DM me. That's absolutely fine as well. I prefer if you post in the community just because everyone gets to see it. Then everyone knows the answer. Plus it boosts our engagement. Engagement is good on school. It helps us grow in the ranks. And ask ChatGPT if none of the above work. Honestly, if you DM me and I don't know the answer, I might be doing that myself. But we'll see. I hope I know the answer. I like to think I know the answers. So, quick summary, and then we'll get right into it. So I've welcomed you to map it out. Welcome, great to have you. I've set you up for success, or at least I've tried my very best for now. If you do need any help with this, please let me know. We've gone over the course objectives and the key topics, and I've told you how to get help. So again, if you need help with any of this is unclear, you're not sure what to do next, you know how to get help. I just told you. Post in the community and tag me and I'll sort you out as quick as I can. Action steps. Yeah, you've got homework. Every one of these is going to have action steps because I want you taking action and I want you getting started as soon as you can. Money loves speed. So, before that, take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? You might be overwhelmed. You might be super confident. Whatever you're feeling, it's absolutely okay. I am here to help you through all of this. The goal in mind is to get you clarity, to get you confident, to get your business up and running, and to save you as much time as possible within the daily operations of your business. there's plenty that you're doing that you don't need to be doing that can be automated. And the first step to doing that, laying that foundation, is this client journey map, so that we can do that in a client-centric style. So yeah, take a breath, relax, it's all under control. Review your Miro board and checklist. Ensure you're all set up and ready to go. So have a look through those, make sure everything's looking good, that you're happy with it. Share a post. So share a post in the school community and value add. Share your Miro setup or your checklist, the boxes that you've ticked off already. Yeah, let everyone know that you're here. If you engage in the community, it's so much better for everyone involved. And get ready for mapping. So prepare to start mapping your client journey in the next session, because we are diving right in. I wanted to get into that as quickly as I could. I don't want to bog you down with theory and boring stuff about the 8 phases of the client journey, which we did cover in this video very quickly. I wonder if you remember them. We'll go over them again, don't worry. Now, quick quote: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." Lao Tzu, philosopher. This is that first step. We have 1,000 miles to go. We're going to try and go 100 miles an hour, so it'll be pretty quick. But this whole thing is a long, long journey. Being in business for yourself as a coach, working with clients. That 1,000 miles is not a negative thing. It's very, very positive. This is going to be huge. And for some of you, it probably already is. But this is your first step towards gaining full clarity around your business, having everything mapped out, laying the groundwork for automation, and really building this into something where you can provide as much value as possible to the people that you care most about, in the form of your clients and probably your family as well, indirectly through the value you create in the world. I hope that makes sense. I don't think it does, but that's all right. Please leave a testimonial. There's a link below for that. I'd really appreciate it if you do. The more testimonials we have, the more social proof that we have that this is something valuable, this is something worth checking out, the more people will come in, and that means we'll be able to help them as well, and they can help you. We all work together, pulling to a common goal. Let's make it happen. Get started. I will see you in the next video. All right, mapping the path. We are going to get right into it. We're going to get you mapping today in Miro. So please feel free, if you have 2 screens, open it up on the other side, get the template ready. We'll be into it before you know it. So here's what we're going to cover. Very quick, very easy. We're going to be understanding the basic journey mapping, and refining the mapping process. So we're going to understand what a basic journey is, map it all out, and then refine it a bit. Very quick, very easy. But before we do that, please follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn for more exclusive content. I've got a lot of good stuff coming out there in the near future. Please check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you don't, let me know, because maybe I can make something specific to you. I've done that before. And share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and their value add community. The more people we get in, the more we can learn from each other, the more we can grow and really engage and create something really wonderful. That is the goal of all of this. Now, a warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. But a pro tip, you can watch the video in 2x speed. I do that, I usually do 1.5, 2 is a bit too fast. I might sound like a chipmunk, but give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Let's dive in, understanding the basic journey. So the intended outcomes here, we want to give you a basic journey map. By the end of this session, you'll have created a basic journey map in Miro. Foundation for success. This exercise is designed to build your confidence in mapping more complex client journeys. So we're starting very, very simple, just getting you used to the tools, but we will go further and further until we have your entire business mapped out end to end. And understanding journey mapping. So we want you to learn the fundamentals of journey mapping, starting with a basic example. and the purpose of mapping, so to understand how mapping helps visualize the client experience and identify key touch points. So we'll sort of see that unfold. Hopefully the purpose will become clear to you very soon, but really it's to help give you clarity. So if I can't give you clarity on how it will give you clarity, how will we ever be clear? Clear? Okay. So, basic journey mapping. We're about to dive right into it. What we're going to do is some step-by-step mapping. We're going to start with the end goal. So we're going to identify the desired outcome. In this case, it'll just be a simple purchase. Then we're going to work backwards to key interactions. So trace back to the steps leading up to the outcome. There won't be many in this case, but in the real world, there are quite a few usually. We're going to identify initial awareness. So we're going to recognize the first point of interaction. And that will be pretty much it. So let's build the map in Miro. We'll follow along. Please follow along in Miro as we map out this basic journey. So I'm going to switch over right now. All right, so we've got this mapping template here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new frame. So this is the frame outside here. So I'm just going to create a new one here. It just helps with everything that we do. Basically, it means that when you put all these different boxes in there, instead of having to move them all around one at a time, you can grab the whole thing and move it like that. So fairly simple. There's other purposes as well, but that's the main one that I've found that's super useful, especially when I'm making multiple maps or breaking things down into smaller pieces. Okay, so I'm going to start with the end in mind. Now the end I want here, I'm not actually going to use a terminator because it's not the real end, but the end that I'm considering, we'll put it around here. So the end that I'm considering here is that the client books a session. All right, so we're going to say not that, you didn't see that. They're going to book a session. So this will be a paid session and just a one-off. So a simple transaction there. They're buying a thing from you. So they're booking a session. Maybe we'll change that to attends a session. No, they book it in. So what has to happen before this? So change this over to green because that's a positive action. So before that, they probably would have had to visit your website. And before that, they probably would have had to search for you. Maybe they, we'll say they saw you on a social media post. So, so they clicked to post. And maybe we'll turn this one into the start point. So saw post on Facebook because I'm a millennial and that's where I think people see posts. Could be LinkedIn, could be Instagram, could be TikTok even, depends on you. Now you can see this is kind of looking like it's all going backwards here with the arrows. Let's flip those around. So we just click this button here to change the direction on the arrow. So if anything looks wrong, you don't need to redraw the arrow, you can just change it here. So yeah, they've seen a post on Facebook, they've clicked on that, they've visited your website, and they've booked in a session with you. Awesome, it's looking good already. So something I didn't consider here, and let's say, so before they can book in, they have to pay. So this is actually really good. I can show you how. So if we move them around, the arrow stays there. But if we click on the arrow, this button here, we insert a shape. So let's insert another one here and say that they've pays for session. So this is a very simple journey and it's not over yet, but you can see how they go from here being aware of you. So they see the post, they're suddenly aware that this offer exists. They click on the post, they engage with it. They visit your website, And then we don't really cover the subscribe stage here because they jump right to the convert stage, so they don't sign up for a lead magnet or anything. Maybe visiting the website is enough of a subscribe stage. They pay for the session. If we want to put more detail in, we could even go more granular, saying they have to fill in the form with their name and email address, because that's part of the payment process. Anyway, they pay, so they've converted here, they've booked in. Now, what happens after that? So we've gone to, the goal is to get them to book in and pay. So they will have to, it's gone backwards again. They will have to attend the session. And in this case, it's just a one-off, but they still get good value out of it. So happy with result. And let's say they even expand this out a bit. They leave a review. That was very nice of them. And then they leave and never come back, is what we're going to say in this particular instance. I'm just going to change this over to a terminator. And that is the end of their journey with you. So this is it. They've seen the post, clicked it, visited the website, paid for a session, booked it in, attended. They're happy with the results. That is a step on the journey, is, I guess, having a positive experience. And they leave a review, and that's it. So this is a very, very simple journey here. Now we can go into some different branches. Let's have a look. Let me see what I had planned next. Let's go back to this. Yes, refining the mapping process. Before we dive too deep into that, we've got a representation here of a very micro journey. So this could be all considered as part of the convert phase. Maybe convert and excite together, because they've had that positive experience as well. But it also covers all of the different phases here to an extent. What we don't have is them ascending, maybe attending a second session, booking in a block of 12. So going from that first initial conversion point to something a bit more longer term, or a bit more high ticket. And while they do leave a review, they don't become a promoter. They don't actively search other people out saying, you've got to come and talk to this coach, they're amazing. But yeah, this is some basics there. So they're aware, they engage, they convert, they're excited, and they become an advocate. So wanted to keep it really simple here. We can go into much more detail. It's a very basic journey. Let's have a look at refining this mapping process a bit. So we want to apply some inversion thinking. We want to consider potential obstacles that could prevent the client from reaching the end goal. So first off, let's just have a look. We'll put in some decision points. This. It's a bit all over the place here, and I'll have to tidy this up. But I want to just make some space to include some decision points. So I'm going to have a decision here, and I think we're making those blue. And we're going to go this way here, because what we're looking at, and it's better to show than tell sometimes, doesn't click. So here, at every step, they get to make a decision. That arrow is backwards again. Is their interest piqued when they see the post? For 90% of people that see the post, it's going to be a no. And that's being very generous with the numbers there. I think a 1% click-through rate is considered pretty good. 2% is considered amazing. So 98% even will probably not click into the post and visit the website, which is absolutely fine. That's industry standard for pretty much everywhere. If you're doing better than that, congratulations, well done. We're all very jealous. So this is where we have a look at some inversion thinking. So why don't we go through this quickly? We won't map it all out right now, but if we have a look at each step, so what could possibly go wrong here? And we can have a look at what the different paths are and then maybe why they could go wrong as well. So we'll chuck some post-its on here as well. So let's say, oh, that's a bit big, go small. Post is boring, and that's why they don't click. Not saying that about you, please don't take it to heart, but that's a potential possibility. Maybe it's boring to them, maybe they don't understand it. So yeah, that's where we see something doesn't go right here. So thinking this way about everything else, so what could prevent them from when they click on the post to visiting the website? Maybe the link's broken. That could be it. Maybe it could be a really slow load time on the website, because realistically there shouldn't be anything that stops them from going from here to here, because it's just the internet doing its thing. But there are ways where it could not work. Or maybe if they click on the post, they've just opened it up and given it a like and they haven't clicked the link. From visiting the website to paying for the session, maybe it's a price objection, maybe there's something on the landing page that doesn't really make them think that they want to buy from you. Maybe it's not urgent enough for them, a million different reasons. So yeah, they decide not to pay. Now this one, maybe I should switch the order around, because if they decide to pay and then not to book, not the worst thing in the world, free money and all that, but it's not ideal. It's not what we want. We want them to book the session. We want them to come to the session. So for whatever reason here, glitches in the system, maybe I should have switched those around. That's all right. We'll move on. They book the session, but they don't attend. So somewhere along this line here, they branch off and they don't make it to the session. So that's not ideal either, even if it is us getting paid for not doing any work, because the bigger picture there is we want them to be happy with the results. And then we have, if they attend the session, what if they're not happy with the results? So that's something to consider. This is one that it's less of a journey mapping issue and more of a coaching issue. So that's up to you to ensure that you provide value within the session, and it can be a roll of the dice. It could be something along the lines of, maybe all the way back here, this hasn't aligned with what they received in the session. This is why we like to work backwards. It's because we want to make sure that what we were doing in the session aligns with what's on our website, what's in our post. If I do all of this, if I brought you here talking about customer journey mapping, and then this session was all about automation, you might not be too happy with that. Now, you may have come here from some of my automation content, and you might not be too happy that this is all about customer journey mapping, but the reality is this is a necessary step. So please gut it out with me. We will get to automation, because what we're going to look at is on each step here, how to automate that to optimize the journey and make sure we're getting the best out of it. And then finally, if we are happy with the results, what if they don't leave a review? There could be a million reasons, even including you didn't ask them to. So that is what we're looking at with the journey here. This is the basic concept of what we're trying to do across the board, is figure out where things are happening, where the decision points are and where they can go wrong, and then how we can work that out so that everything gets a bit better. We can improve our rate of everyone taking the ideal journey that we want them to take. Okay, so that is inversion thinking that we've just applied. Refine and improve. So this is where we can adjust and strengthen it. So just going back here, I suppose for this one we could do make post more interesting. But for here, let's Let's put in another decision point here, and we'll make it blue. Let's call that one yes. Call that one no. And we'll switch it over. So as simple as that, does the link work? And maybe, this is one that's going to be 100% wrong. So maybe it's on that particular post that the link doesn't work, or maybe it's on their browser. Who knows? So then how we would fix this is maybe implement a process. Oh, that's twice. Process for validating links. So what we can look at as well, with attending a session, that's a big one. We could build an automation there to remind them that the session's coming. That's fairly standard. That's something we will talk about. But having an automation sequence, letting them know 24 hours out, 1 hour out, 10 minutes out, saying, hey, it's coming. Please make sure you're ready. Here's everything you need. Those types of things are what we'll be implementing. All right, and learning from the feedback. So share them up with your peers, gather insights on how to improve your approach. This is really helpful for refining. Many hands make light work, and collectively we're smarter than we are individually. We can really benefit from the wisdom we can gain from each other when people can see things that we can't see. There might be some really obvious things that even I've missed in that map. Let me know about them. I'd love to hear them. I can probably come back and make this module or this video a little bit better. But yes, summary. So hopefully now you understand the basic journey. You can see we've mapped it out, and hopefully you have as well. I hope you were mapping along with me in Miro. If not, feel free, pause, rewind, whatever you want to do. Take some time to do it yourself. And we've touched on refining the mapping process. So your action steps, your homework. Take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? Is it too much? Is it too easy? Are you getting nervous about it? Are you not sure? Are you struggling with Miro? Is that a bit too much? It's okay. It's fine to feel overwhelmed. It's also fine if you're thinking this is too easy and this is too slow. That's what the double speed is for. You can whiz through them. Please don't skip the videos, but yeah, you can go through them quickly if you think this is all beginner stuff. I've done that before. But check in with yourself, relax, take a break if you have to. But once you're feeling ready to go, before you move to the next video, I want you to finalize your basic journey map. So ensure it's clear, concise, and ready for refinement. And then reflect on the inversion insights. So identify and address any potential barriers. So once you've mapped out, do it in this order, map out the basic journey from end to end with all the ideal steps where everything is good, and then start thinking about what can go wrong. Don't dwell on that too much. We only want to do that as a thought experiment, as an exercise to try and figure out how we can make it better. Thinking about what can go wrong too much is not a great way to live your life. And share with the value add community. I would love for you to make a post, put it in the win column, in the win category, if I've created that yet. But share it. I'm sure everyone would love to see it. I know I'd love to see it. I'd love to see how you're progressing. So put that in there and get some feedback on it. Get some thoughts. Get some nice GIFs, GIFs, whatever you want to call them, some thumbs up. And have a look at some other ones in the community as well. Hopefully some other people have shared theirs. And we'll keep doing this as we go. We want to really see your progression here. And it helps as well if you've made any big mistakes or if something glaringly obvious, it's best to catch it early so we can check those out as we go. Okay, we've got a quote here from someone much smarter than me, and it's, you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology, not the other way around. And that's Steve Jobs. You may have heard of him. He's the co-founder and former CEO of Apple. Now, the reason I put this quote in here is specifically to do with what I do, which is automation. So I focus on client-centric automation. I love building in high-level building automations, workflows, all of that stuff. And that's probably why some of you are here, is because you want to get into that. The key here is that we have to understand the customer experience first. We have to map it out. If we are automating for the sake of automation, it's like building a self-driving car without a GPS. It can go really fast, but it will run into a wall very quickly or do something worse. So once we have this planned out, once we have it all sorted, we can start to automate. We can probably even automate as we go, but the focus on this one is journey mapping. But yeah, we build it all out, build the perfect client experience, and then use the technology to facilitate that, not the other way around, not technology for its own sake. Okay, please leave a testimonial if you've enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot, I really appreciate it. It helps other people find out about the course and the community. And let's make it happen. Get started, make it happen, let's start mapping. That's silly. All right, see you soon. Welcome back. Good to see you again and glad that you're here. Today, we're looking at the reverse route. So we're going to be going backwards through the customer journey. Maybe I should have started this with goodbye. That would have been clever. Oh well. We're going backwards through the journey from the conversion point back to awareness, just to figure out how it all works, create a cohesive journey. Let's get into it. So we're going to cover the introduction to reverse mapping. Step by step, going through it, mapping out the journey, and then refining the reverse map, which once we've mapped it, it's really not a reverse map anymore, it's sort of forwards. So we are going to be going right to left as we go through. So when we look at it, it goes left to right. So please follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn for more exclusive content. Up Insights Oz is the handle on most of those. My links will be in the description down below. Plenty of cool stuff happening there. I hope you like it. And if you don't, let me know. Please share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community if you think it would be beneficial for them, which I hope it will be for a lot of people. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video. Don't skip, don't fast forward. Pro tip though, watch the video in 2x speed or 1.5 if that's more your speed, so I don't sound like a... I've said chipmunk already, but that's about right. Let's jump into it. The introduction to reverse mapping. So the intended outcomes of this video, we want you to have a reverse map journey. So by the end of this session, you'll have a reversed map journey. You will have reverse mapped your client journey from convert back to aware. We'll have enhanced the consistency. So this approach ensures that your journey flows smoothly from beginning to end. So when we start with the end in mind, it's always easier to know where we're trying to take someone. Now, the purpose of reverse mapping. So this is about ensuring a cohesive client experience by tracing the journey backwards from convert to aware. So the reason that we do this, it's much easier when we start with our goal and go backwards from there to figure out what we want to have happen, what makes sense, what is logical to have happened to bring them to this point. If we start at, oh, they saw a post, what happens next? It's kind of hard. Sometimes it can be, oh, they saw a post, they buy immediately. That's not really realistic. It happens, don't get me wrong, I've done it myself, but it's not the most realistic outcome. And we want to have a look at what makes sense going backwards to get them to that point. And some key phases that we're going through, we're focusing on the early phases: subscribe, engage, and aware. Those are in reverse order there, going back from convert. So these are the phases that we're going to be focusing on. I'll go into those in more detail as we build this out. So step-by-step reverse mapping. I'll go through this slide first and then we'll get into the live map. We'll have a look at it. So we're going to start from the convert phase. So we're going to begin at the conversion point that we mapped earlier. I'm not going to use that exact one for this example because I played around with it a bit. But if you've mapped out your basic journey, your conversion point there, then it should be very easy to sort of expand on that and go backwards to what should happen before that. And we can insert things in. If we've got the starting point of that conversion as they see a post, we can go back prior to that, or we can have that as the start of that micro journey there where they saw a post, but they're already aware of you. That's not their awareness point. They're already subscribed to your email list, for example. So we're going to work back to subscribe. So we're going to work back through the subscribe phase. This is where they've made a small commitment to you. They've given you their information and they want to know more about you. So signed up for a lead magnet is an example there. Joined your mailing list. Basically, you know who they are more than you might in some other phases. You have a channel of contacts to them. The example here that's usually given is in relation to dating, is they've given you their phone number. They're saying it's okay to call me. Then we will trace back to engage. So we'll reverse through the engage phase to the initial interactions. So this is where they've had some sort of engagement, whether they've liked a post, they've clicked a link, they swiped right on you. That's what we want to look at here. And then we return all the way to awareness and we identify how the client first became aware of your service. So this would be things like social media posts, advertising, billboards, if you have them. You probably don't, but if you do, tell me about them. I'm super interested in how they work and how you track it. Okay, and we've skipped ahead to refining the reverse map. So before we look at that, let's build it. We need to build it before we refine it. So I'll jump over to our template. Here it is. Oh, before we jump into the template, so this should hopefully look very familiar. This was just in the last video, but I've made myself a little bit of a case study. So this is who I'm mapping for. It's Sarah Mitchell from Empower Coaching. Not real, made up. ChatGPT helped me put this together. It's a very useful tool if used correctly. So she's a life coach for female entrepreneurs. Running a coaching business for a couple of years, focusing on helping female entrepreneurs gain clarity and confidence. Her business is moderately established with a growing client base, but she struggles with time management and refining her business model. Sounds like the person I want to work with. So what I'm really interested in here, more than anything, is her key services that she offers. So one-on-one coaching, 60-minute sessions in Zoom, a one-off clarity session, so a 90-minute intensive session, and a lead magnet, a free guide, 5 steps to overcoming self-doubt. So this one-on-one coaching here, we can see that's a 3-month package. We're not going to look at that right now. We're going to say the conversion point here, what they're committing to, is the clarity session. And then before that, we've got the lead magnet that probably gets them in the door. So let's map it out. That's not going to become my catchphrase, I don't think. All right, so we will create a new frame. Here we go. So you can work in the same frame. I'm doing this just for my own clarity. But ideally what you want to do is, as you work through this, work in the same frame, keep building it out until you have one giant end-to-end map. But yes, for now, this is what I'm doing just to illustrate it more easily for you and for myself. Okay, so we are going to create this here. We're going to have a positive interaction. Okay, so this would be, what do we call it, Sarah? Clarity session. That looks tiny. I'm going to zoom right in. All right, we've got a clarity session here. And we're going to say is attended. Okay, so this is our goal. It's not really the end, but for now we're just going to have it here. This is what we're trying to get to. So what has to happen before they attend a clarity session? A couple of things. First off, so we want to be really simple here. We don't want to think about what's going on in their mind, like, oh, they're really unclear, that's why they have to have a clarity session. Yes, that's true, but for today's purposes, for most of this map, what we want to figure out is what are the steps that have to happen. So very simple, very straightforward. So they would have to book a clarity session. Easy as that. We'll spin this around again. Now let's take a big step backwards. Before they do any of this, they would have to know that Sarah exists. You know what, we'll get to that later. We're trying to go back in order. I was going to try and go really far back there and then build some steps in between, which can be useful as well if you want to work that way. So they would have to visit a landing page. All right, now what's going to get them to this landing page? It could come from a post. We'll talk about multiple entry points later on. So Sarah could be advertising this directly. That definitely happens. But let's say Sarah wants to nurture her leads a bit more. So maybe this only goes out to certain people in an email. Okay, so they've received an email with the link. So if they've received an email, they must have subscribed. Unless we're cold emailing, which we're not. It's illegal in this country, by the way. Check the Spam Act. So we're not cold emailing, so they must have subscribed. Now, how did they do that? So in our case study here with Sarah, she has a lead magnet. She has a free guide, a downloadable PDF, offers actionable tips, and is used to build her email list. So we'll just use 5 steps. Well, I have not given myself enough space here, and that did not work. Okay, so they downloaded the 5 steps guide. I copied that and then I didn't paste it. Downloaded the 5 steps guide. All right, and before that, they must have gone to a landing page or something to receive that. Maybe it was a Facebook ad lead form, but let's make it simple. So we've got the 5 steps landing page. So to get to a landing page, they must have clicked the link. And to do that, they probably saw a post. So this can be our starting point. And we'll call it a LinkedIn post because she's targeting entrepreneurs. So that might be a good place to post there. So what we have here with all of this, you can see now, if it hasn't become obvious to you, this is the convert step where they've booked in, they've converted, they've made a commitment. And then back here, all the way back here, this is where they've subscribed. They've downloaded the 5 steps guide. They've filled in a form with their details, and we'll get a bit more granular here in a second. And then they've gone to the landing page to do that. They've clicked the link to get there from a LinkedIn post. So this here, the post itself, they've seen it, they're aware. So that is our aware phase. These are always so large. All right, and then when they've clicked the link, now in this case they've clicked the link directly. Maybe they like the post first. Maybe they like dozens of posts before they go through this step. But this is where they engage. They've taken action. They've done something. And then moving on to this next step here. So it's around here because they can get to the landing page and then not proceed or not fill out the form. But because they've downloaded the guide, they have subscribed. So that's our subscribe phase there. And then all the way up here when they book the clarity session, this is where they convert. Particularly in this case study, it's a paid session. I'm going to pretend that it's not for now, just for the sake of simplicity. But particularly when someone pays, they convert. But conversion doesn't necessarily mean payment in all cases. So a little spoiler alert, if you're watching this now, then I consider you in the convert phase. Actually, I hope you're in the excite phase, which comes right after convert, because I'm hoping that I'm giving you a lot of value here. You're getting excited about it. You're liking what you're seeing. You're liking what you're hearing. And you haven't paid me anything. I mean, maybe you have, but you haven't paid for this. But you've made a commitment, and I appreciate it. You've given me your time and your attention, and that is valuable. So that counts as conversion. You're converted. So we have all of this here. This is all set up. So yeah, that is a very basic reverse map there. Now, what I recommend, what we want to do, is get more granular on all of this, especially when we think about what has to happen in between. So, in between here, we've got book a clarity session and clarity sessions attended. Things can go wrong here. Unfortunately, things can always go wrong. So we use our inversion thinking and decide what might happen here. Actually, before I put a decision in, let's just put some post-it notes around. Let's use orange. All right, so what could stop this from happening? They could forget. Maybe they're busy with something else. Life gets in the way, it happens. So that could happen here. So if they don't book the clarity session, so maybe they decide not to. At the last minute, they get all the way to the landing page, they look at it, and they think, no, this is not for me. So that's something there. So what could prevent them from visiting the landing page? So there's a couple of different things here, but maybe they don't even open the email. All right. Maybe, I know we mentioned this last time, but maybe the link's broken. So that could be an option. All right, now what about the email not being received? So if they've received the email with the link, how could this not happen? The dreaded spam folder. Again, maybe open email lives here and not there. And as we get more granular, we can figure out exactly where these go. Didn't open email is more correct there. All right, so downloading the 5 steps guide. What could prevent them from doing that? So let's say they didn't fill in form. Spam folder could happen there as well, because this is an email that's sent out. This is more of a follow-up email, so part of a nurture sequence. And then we've got the landing page. So what could prevent them from getting here? I suppose that's mainly if the link is broken. If they've clicked the link and they haven't gone here, who knows? And then the LinkedIn post, getting them to click the link, that's potentially the issue there, is it just doesn't speak to them. They're not in the right place for it. And that's absolutely fine in most cases. Not everyone that looks at our posts is going to take that first step because it's not always right for them. And that is just a fact of life. All right, so what we're going to look at here. So we've got this decision point here of do they attend? And what we're going to look at is what happens if they don't attend. So we kind of showed this earlier of the different pathways, but we didn't really go into what we're going to do about it. So this is where we start to figure out the plan. Okay, so does not attend. So I would say being aware of all these potential issues is, I guess, potentially meaningless if we don't take any action on it. I mean, we'll always have to take some action to rectify this, but these particular scenarios where we have their details, they've made a booking and they don't show up, we can do something about this. And that's as simple as we will follow up. So we'll follow up. We can do an automated follow-up email for when people do not appear at the session. And in that, we can have a link back to the landing page and get them to rebook the clarity session. Now, why this is useful is let's say you have really good show rate, so 80% is really good. So only 1 out of every 5 people, 2 out of every 10 people. It's better for our math. They book in and they don't attend. They don't show up, whatever reason. We're not giving up on those 2. So every single one of them, if they don't attend, they get an email saying, hey, what happened? This can even be a sequence. So we can send them, 3 emails saying, hey, what's going on? You booked in, you didn't make it. I'd love to speak with you. It looks like you need some help. So we send this follow-up email and we link them back to book another call. So in doing this, let's say, 80% out of every 10, 2 drop in here, and maybe 1 of those comes back and rebooks because we've put in this follow-up email sequence. If we don't put that in, those 2 could be gone forever. So we want to take action to try and rectify this. And this is what we want to do all the way through here. So for every single step here, we can have a look at what the problems are, what potentially happens, so we can proactively try and fix problems. Say the spam folder is one that we can try and fix with our email deliverability, but also we can reactively solve them as well. So there's going to be plenty of people that don't open the email. Why don't we send another one? So keep sending to an extent. We don't want to go crazy and send them 100 emails asking them to do the same thing, but don't give up on them. Send them another email maybe later down the track. They're still on your email list, so you're going to continue promoting to them, saying, hey, book this clarity session. We think it'll help you. But yeah, so follow around that. Specifically, if they visit the landing page, and if you have smart automations, we can separate those from the people who never click the link and say, hey, I saw you visited the landing page. Were you thinking about a clarity session? And try and move them on to that next step. So this is what we want to go through on every single step here. I don't want to spend hours and hours on this, so I hope that you've gotten the point. Let's have a look now at refining the reverse map, which is what I was just talking about. We'll get into that a bit. So yes, we want to apply inversion thinking, identify what could go wrong at each phase, potentially causing drop-offs. We want to refine and improve. So we want to refine your map to ensure all phases from aware to convert are tightly linked. And we want to learn from feedback. So share your map with peers and gather insights on how to improve your approach. The community is a great place to do that. So yeah, show it to everyone. What am I missing? What am I not thinking of? I guarantee you there are a dozen things in here that I am not considering. More because I tried to blitz through this a bit to make it quick and easy. But as an example, so on the landing page here, there's a step in between these. There's steps in between all of these, which is that the email is sent with the 5 steps guide. So for them they've filled out the details on the landing page. The email is sent. That's another step that's here that I haven't considered. Oh, it's too small. It doesn't like it. So they have to complete the form. Really wedging them in here. So this is where if you're using ads, you could use retargeting. If you've got your pixel installed, which is something I'm trying to set up right now, you've got your pixel installed on the landing page. They go there, but they don't complete it. So that's where we could look at retargeting those as a tactic to try and bring them on to the next stage, to complete, to subscribe. Yeah, so the email is sent. So on each one of these, as we break it down, these different decision points will come into effect. And we can look at those, look at the different options of what can happen, and consider how we can fix them. So I might just blitz through and do some inversion thinking here. So they saw the post. Did they click the link? Yes or no? No, why not? They clicked the link, but they didn't get to the page. That's a harder one to fix, but maybe it's a broken link. So these aren't really decisions yet. It's just something that could happen. But when they're on the page, it's a decision on their part as to whether they complete the lead form. So that is something we can look at fixing. And optimizing that, maybe take it just from 3% to 4% of people who get on there complete the lead form, and do that with retargeting ads in this case. Now they complete the lead form and the email is sent. So this is where it could be the spam folder, but even after that, they have to open the email. So if they don't open the email, let's send another one. Let's follow up. Maybe they open the email, but they don't download the guide. So they never get that first piece of value from you that's so important. Now, how do we track that they've downloaded the guide? We can do that with certain automations. I'm pretty sure I can do that with GoHighLevel. We can track that, make sure they've done it. And then after they've downloaded the guide, do they receive the email? So the follow-on emails from that, usually after a lead magnet, you'd want to send like 5 welcome emails, nurture emails, saying, hey, checking in, here's more stuff I have for you. This is one of those things that's really cool. And yeah, do they receive that? Do they open that email? Maybe they don't. So maybe we want to send more if they don't open it. And then again, they go to the landing page and they have to fill out another form here to book in. So we can see the steps of what's happened and where it can go wrong. And it will. And that's okay. That's perfectly normal. We can have 1,000 people or even more see the post here and one of them book a session. Honestly, that's a great result. If that's what happens, we get them to here, get 1%, 0.1% to convert. I think that's a pretty good result from 1,000 people looking at a post. Depends on the quality of your leads, of course, and the quality of your post. But that's something worth considering there, is that, of course, not everyone is going to take the ideal journey. This is about pushing everyone through as much as possible, trying to increase that number with little steps along the way. There's no silver bullet, there's 100 golden BBs. And that's what we're working on now, is tiny little pieces that can enhance this. Okay, so that is enough on this for now. Let's go back to where we were. So, in summary, this was, we covered the introduction to reverse mapping. I hope it all made sense. We went through step by step in reverse mapping there, and we did some refining of the reverse map. Action steps. Let's get you doing stuff. Stop listening to me, get out there in the world. But first, take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? It's probably a lot. I feel like I talked very quickly and for a long time there. So take a breath. Think about it. You don't have to do this perfectly the first time. You can see I didn't do it perfectly the first time there. I put everything out there and I looked at it again and thought, what's in between here? What are the little micro steps that could happen, that we want to happen? And think of it from a practical point of view, at least at the start. Later on we can get into what are they thinking or feeling to take this step. But first we just want to know what the steps are. And it's as simple as sees the post, clicks the link, goes to this page, gets this email, that sort of thing. So, yeah. Take a breath. It's okay. Got you covered. I'm here in the community. Ask me questions. Ask everyone else questions. Share your thoughts and feelings. And finalize your updated journey map. Ensure all phases are consistently connected. So we want to go through and make sure it all makes sense. So working backwards like that, you can see hopefully that was all consistent there. It's something you might have to consider for your own business. It's something that I can't necessarily help with, at least on this video. You can ask me about it. But does this 5 steps guide really link up to that clarity session? Does it make sense? I would say yes in this case. But if this was about, I don't know, 5 steps to lose weight, and then it's a clarity session here, that's not really connected. We want to think when we're going backwards, if you're not sure of the straight line here, if you have multiple offers, which one lines up with it? That's the journey that we want to build. and check for gaps. So identify and close any inconsistencies in your map, any little gaps in there. Try and find as many as possible. There are always more to find, so done is better than perfect, and you can always come back to it. It's a living document. And share with value add. So I think I said that before, but share the journey map with the community, put it out there. People will help, hopefully. I will help. Every journey map that gets added in there, I'll have a look at it. I'll give my feedback as to what I think could be done better, if there are gaps that I can see, or I'll just say, well done, awesome job. I don't have all the answers. Now, quote for today, the best way to predict the future is to design it backwards. Buckminster Fuller, amazing name, so he's an architect, and this is exactly what we're doing now. We're designing the future backwards. So this is the future that we're going to have, is people are converting. So we're going to work backwards from there. How do we get them there? How do we get them to convert? And that's what we've done today. Please leave a testimonial. Thank you very much. It really helps for bringing more people in here. If they can see that you're getting results, it helps them a lot to make that choice and to map it out. So let's make it happen. Get started, get mapping, and let me know how you go. Can't wait to hear from you. All right, thanks. Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Today we're looking at forward momentum. So we've done our reverse route. We've gone backwards from convert through to aware. Now we're moving forward. So here's what we're going to cover. Mapping from convert through to promote. That's the final stage there. That's the goal, get them to become a promoter. Step-by-step forward mapping. So we'll go through each phase there. And then we'll be refining the forward map. So really calling it a forward map. Yes, no, it's everything after the convert point that we're looking at today. But before we get into that, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, follow me on all the socials there for more exclusive content. So Up Insights Oz is the best place to find me, but there's links below this video as well where you can check it out. And share the course. Please, sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community if you care about them. And if it's right for them. Don't just send it to anyone and everyone. I mean, you can if you like, but send it to the people that will get the most value out of it. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course, as always. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. But as a pro tip, you can watch the video in 2x speed or 1.5, anything to get you a couple of minutes back in your day. So, mapping from convert through to promote. So here are our intended outcomes for this session. We want a complete journey map. So by the end of this session, you'll have mapped the client journey from convert through to promote. And because we've already mapped from convert back to aware, we'll actually have a complete map. I know you're thinking we're only halfway through, and that's true. This is only lesson 4 of 8. But we'll have a finalized map, which I suppose you could use. We're going to, after this, start looking at refining it more, digging into it, making it as good as it can possibly be, making it the best journey map we can come up with. Building long-term success. So this step is crucial for fostering loyalty and encouraging referrals. So once we've got them in the door, once we've got them converted as a customer or an engaged lead, we want to really validate that. We want to make sure that they like what they get, that they get good value out of it, they stay, and they bring in new people. So that's what I'm doing here, hopefully. You're on a journey with me. And a focus on client advocacy. So as we map the client journey from convert through phases like excite, ascend, advocate, and promote, the focus here, the goal that we have is to turn them into promoters. So they actively go and bring new people in. And the best way to do this isn't some fancy trick or psychology or some weird hack. It's by giving them an amazing experience, giving them great value. There's no real secret other than be awesome. So, step-by-step forward mapping. So we're going to start from convert, begin with the conversion point that we ended on last time. Or kind of started with last time. We started at the middle. Then we're going to move on to Excite. So we'll outline how to validate the client's choice to convert. Proceed to Ascend, identify opportunities for the client to ascend, whether that's through upselling, cross-selling, or just continuing to buy. Shift to Advocate, so we'll recognize how clients become advocates. And then we'll end at Promote, so we'll finalize with how advocates promote your services. Okay, and I think, yeah, let's get into it. Let's actually start mapping. All right, so I've got the template here. Oh, I didn't clean this up. I did a quick copy paste, and I meant to have this all be blank. Because what we have here, so this is our reverse route. So we ended at the clarity session is attended. So they show up to the call. That's great. So this is where we're starting. So we'll put that over here. So this is Sarah's clarity session. So Sarah Mitchell from Empower Coaching, not real, made up for the sake of this case study. Although I did have a business coach called Sarah. She was excellent, by the way. Yes, anyway, so one-off clarity session. So this is sort of the conversion point there. It's a 90-minute intensive session designed to help clients gain immediate clarity on a specific challenge, and it includes a follow-up email with actionable steps. So let's have a look at that. So the goal here, what we want to get them to, let's just put in an endpoint. Now we don't have anything specific sent here, but let's just say active promoter. Referral partner. So this, when we get to the promotion stage, this is where we want to take them, where they're bringing in new clients. They're out talking about how amazing you are. So that could be in the form of an affiliate program, or they just like you so much they're telling everyone about it. So how do we get them from here to here? We always want to have a goal of where we're trying to take them. All right, so clarity session is attended. So this is our conversion point. The next step after that, what we want to see is what's called Excite. So the most probably important part, the most crucial part of the client journey is the very start. And when I say the start, I mean the start after conversion. So it's not really the very start. But up until now, they're thinking about it. You know, they're kind of interested. You know what, the first date analogy works well here. Is the real important part is the first actual impression. So they kind of, you know, get to know a bit about you, but knowing the real you, learning about you and your business and what you can deliver and how you can help them will happen in that first purchase or that first real conversion where they commit time or money to you. So we want to make that as valuable as possible, as quickly as possible. We want that to be an excellent experience. If there's one point and only one point that you focus on in here in your client journey, it is this step here. So it's the Excite stage. Once they come in, we want to quickly give them as much value as possible. Not overwhelm them, but make sure they get what they've paid for and more. Because we're setting a standard there. We're setting a precedent that we do what we say we will do. And this has just come to mind for me, but setting expectations and meeting expectations as much as possible is all you do. You say you're going to do something and you do it. Then repeat that process. That is sort of the key to building trust. Do what you say you will do. And I said I was going to map this out, so I should probably do that. All right, so clarity session is attended. And we'll say client gains clarity. So they had an immediate challenge that they were trying to deal with. So this session has gone well. This is the key part that I can't really help with. I don't know how to give people clarity except over things like how to automate and how to build a client journey. But if in this particular case they've got a poor mindset, they're struggling with that, they're very negative scarcity mindset. Maybe this gets switched to on one particular item. A belief is broken. Something changes for the client in this session. Awesome, that's great. So yeah, value delivered here. Excellent. Moving on from there. So we've excited them in this stage here. That's the excite phase. And we want to keep that up. So the next step after that, now in the case study, it says that there's a follow-up email sent with action steps. With action steps. That is not how you spell with. Okay, so we've got a follow-up email coming out with action steps. And of course, maybe even before that, we want to get them into the one-on-one coaching program. So maybe I didn't mention this in the last video. The other service that Sarah offers is a one-on-one coaching program, 60-minute sessions held weekly via Zoom, and it focuses on mindset, goal setting, overcoming obstacles, and it's usually a 3-month package, so we'll say a 12-week package. So maybe before the email, maybe at the end of the call here. We can do this whenever, but at the end of the call is generally best. We want to book a meeting from a meeting. So this is where we'll just say offer made. So 12 weeks program. And in this particular scenario, I know we want to go with ideal, but let's say the client says, that sounds good, but I'm not ready right now. And then there's a follow-up email sent out with action steps. And then client accepts offer. Okay, so she's now ascended. So this is ascending from just a one-off session into a core offer there, an ongoing program, 12 weeks of 1-hour sessions. So everything has gone well. She's gotten excited. She's happy with the results. I'm saying she because I refer to the client there, because the target audience is female entrepreneurs. So I don't want to get too confused with who I'm talking about. But yes, the client is happy. She's gotten good results. So she accepts the offer to work with Sarah more and more, which is fantastic. So from there, what happens? Well, we're going to need to do some onboarding. I suppose for the one-off session, we only need a bit of detail, but for this, we may need to, we'll just say onboarding for now, but this would be things like maybe organizing the invoicing, contracts, coaching agreements are always a good thing to have. All the terms and conditions explaining certain things as to what you do and not handle as a coach. Do and do not handle. And then we'll move on to the first session. Now we're getting very close here, so I might expand this out. Now I'm not going to map all 12 sessions, and you don't need to either, because in the little micro journey of each session, that's generally going to be the same. Where the things that can happen, things that can go wrong in that journey, we can map it out once, and then just sort of loop back around, because what's going to happen is they're going to book a meeting, they're going to attend a meeting, and then they're going to finish and have a result from that meeting, from that session. So let's say session booked. Ooh, that's too many O's. All right. Session attended. And let's say Sarah's really good at sending a follow-up email with action items, which if you're not doing that, that's a great thing to do, just to let them know, what they're meant to do next. We don't want them getting lost. And from that, this will happen, I guess, 12 times. So we'll just loop that back around, and we'll say 12x. Now, throughout this 12, we're going to do different things. So I've got 12 here for the sake of simplicity, but other things are going to happen here. Other things can happen. So at some point, maybe after the third session, so let's say 3x here, we might ask for feedback. Feedback is fantastic. I love it. Give it to me, please, if you have any. So we have a feedback request here. Maybe after 6 weeks, we'll do a testimonial request. So that come in the form of, hey, you're getting great results. I'm really happy. I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a review, gave me a testimonial. Share it with others so that they can get value out of this as well. Help more people like you by helping me help them. I like that. I'm going to use that later on. So testimonial request here. So with the feedback and the testimonial request, we're in the ascend phase, sort of all the way here. Ascend is by far the longest phase because it just keeps going and going. We want to keep moving up. So this is where maybe you have, I'm keeping it simple, but maybe you have something else that you can offer them. Maybe you can cross-sell a course that you've just launched. That counts as ascending. Even a downsell is still ascension. It's keeping them in your world, in your business, for as long as possible, and that's not to drag as much money out of them as possible. That is to give them as much value as possible, to help them as much as you possibly can. Ideally, we want to keep helping them forever, up until we get to a point where we can't, where we've given them everything that we know, everything that we can help them with. Realistically, if we continue to grow at the same rate they do and they don't surpass us, then we can potentially help someone forever. That might not always happen. That would be very rare because people move at different speeds, all sorts of things happen, and there's other reasons. But we don't want to give them an excuse to leave. So we want to keep this all as positive as possible. Anyway, from here, so we've got that testimonial request. And then after the 12 weeks, what we'd look at doing, so let's go straight ahead for 12 weeks. Oop. Just going to drag that out a bit more. I love dragging things out, as you can probably tell. We're going to resubscribe request. So the clients finished their 12 sessions. They've gotten good results. They're happy. The question then is, do you want to book another 12? Is this working for you? Is this something you want to continue? Hopefully it is. So that's where we would go back around here, hopefully, if all goes well. If that's right for them, of course. And we do this again. Now, maybe we wouldn't ask for another testimonial on the second, third, fourth, fifth go around. But throughout this journey, as we keep working with this client, eventually, maybe even here at the first time, we want to convert them into an active promoter or referral partner. And that would be in the form of either potentially an affiliate program or even just naturally. It will happen. I'm sure you've received referrals from people where they've just gone out and said, hey, I've got this coach, they're amazing, you should talk to them. If you've ever had any of your clients say that to someone else, maybe even without your knowledge, you've got a promoter. You've got an active promoter. Now we can structure that with a referral program and monetize it for them, give them a reward for doing that, or just have a referral program that's not monetary, maybe a bonus, maybe a free session, that sort of thing, some sort of thank you for them to create that positive feedback loop. But yeah, this is not necessarily structured, I would say. It's more about just creating this, and then that occurs naturally. So if you're giving them a positive experience, they'll become advocates, which is more of a passive promoter, where if someone asks them, hey, I'm looking for a coach, do you know anyone? They'll say, yes, I do. I have an amazing coach. And the difference between that and an active promoter is they actually go and seek people out and say, you need to get in on this. This is amazing. Check it out. So that's the difference there. So you will have, if you've had clients, if they've given you testimonials, if they've given you reviews, anyone that's given you a testimonial is an advocate. 100%. Unless they change their mind after they give you the testimonial. But yes, an active promoter goes out and finds people to bring into your business to get more help from you. So we've covered this off. We've got the forward momentum there. So we're going from the excite stage here through to ascending, all the way through to around here is, I guess, where we get to advocate, and then promote here. And again, it's hard to map this out specifically because it can happen at any point. It could happen here. Once they get this clarity off the first one, they could start going out and telling everyone how amazing you are. And they should. You are. But now what we want to look at, because we've got all this set up, is refining the map. So I'm going to do it properly this time and go back to the presentation. So we're going to apply inversion thinking. We're going to consider potential obstacles that could prevent a client from reaching the end goal. And we're going to refine and improve. We're going to use insights from inversion thinking to adjust and strengthen our basic journey map. Oh, it's not basic anymore. It's getting quite complex, isn't it? So we're going to think about everything that can go wrong along the way. We won't go too far into it here because it's already been 20 minutes. But we're going to try some of them. Let's see what we can figure out. So, what can go wrong here? Nothing, right? Okay, so first thing here, and I suppose it depends where we want to put this, but they could not show up, right? So missed session, maybe they leave early, maybe further along they get bad results. Maybe for whatever reason, nobody's fault, it was just a bad fit and it did not work out. Bad fit is an interesting one as well because we can look at implementing some things to limit that from happening, like having surveys before the call. Something I would definitely recommend. So they're a bad fit, they're not right for you, you're not right for them. It happens, not everybody is perfect for everybody. Okay. That could affect this as well. I've seen that before where certain coaches don't make an offer based on it being a bad fit for them rather than for the client. The client might be really interested, but you know, sometimes you just have that gut feeling that this isn't someone that you want to work with. All right, what can happen here? Maybe action steps are not taken. Maybe the email isn't received. Spam filters are always fun. Okay. Client declines. That's always a big one. We can look at different objections there, or we can look at following up with them down the track. Just because they've declined here doesn't mean they're not still in that phase. So they can maybe come back and pay for another session here. They're still a customer. They're still on your mailing list. They're still subscribed. It's not the end of the world if they fall off at any of these points. Yeah, I'm going to say that as a blanket statement, but especially once they're past certain points. So once they've subscribed, they remain on the mailing list until they unsubscribe. All right, client declines. Refuses to sign agreement. Payment issues. And then with the session booked, attended, follow-up, this is the same all the way around. So maybe they don't book a session. Maybe they no-show. And maybe they don't receive the email, or they don't take action. Akiton. Action. All right. Now with this, you might think, oh, they give bad feedback. The only bad feedback I would say is non-specific or broad feedback. Negative feedback is not bad. Common misconception, negative feedback, take it with a grain of salt, but it can be incredibly helpful. If you come to me and say, Nick, your course sucks. What the hell is going on? What are you doing? this is wrong with it, that's wrong with it, why didn't you do this? I love it. I appreciate it because I want to make this as good as possible. I want to make this great. And if it's not, I want to know about it. So, feedback request is, let's just say no feedback. They don't want to give you any feedback. They don't provide a testimonial. And they don't resubscribe. So, not interested. So, how can we handle for these issues? Now, some of them are harder than others. Some of them are very simple though. So, especially when it comes to automation. So, we can't fix everything with automation. Bad fit we cannot fix with automation, but we can add in things to help filter that out. So, even maybe back before here, let's not do it here. Where would we put this? I want to put a survey in there. Yeah, it would be before the client session is attended, the clarity session is attended. So it's actually all the way back here. When they book, we could do a survey then to check in with them, ask a couple of key questions relating to certain, what's the word? Deal breakers. Certain deal breakers that you have. If there's anything with a client, like a type of client that you specifically do not want to work with. So for example, I work with a relationship coach that works exclusively with men. So call it whatever you will, but if someone is female, he's not going to work with them. It's as simple as that. Another thing is if someone else books on behalf of someone, so if I thought my friend was in a lot of trouble with his relationship and I booked on his behalf, he's not going ahead with the call there. He doesn't want to talk to someone that hasn't made the effort themselves. Okay, so we can have some sort of survey there that can limit things. It helps increase the quality of the leads as well, the people that come through. If they've gone to the effort to fill in a form, it generally lets you know that they're more likely to take action and get results. Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, so this is one I can't really help with. Okay, so the follow-up email. Look, this is a simple one with the action steps. Something that's really good to do just in general. I'd recommend doing this maybe as across the board, is between sessions, even if they're weekly sessions, do an intra-session check-in. So this follow-up email is sent out with action steps. You can get really granular here with how you want to look at it, depending on the platform that you use. Like in GoHighLevel, for example, that's the one that I use. I love it, and I'll be talking about it more as we go along. But we can tell if an email's been opened. We can tell if a link's been clicked. So if you send out this email and you see after 3 days that they haven't opened this follow-up email with the action steps, you can send another one, or you can send a text message, which is more likely to be seen by them, and say, what's going on? In the most polite way possible, say, hey, I sent you these action steps, I saw you haven't opened the email, have you been able to do them? Maybe they didn't need to open the email, maybe they remembered them, maybe it was really in their mind as to what they needed to do, and they took the action steps straight away. They went and did the thing that helped them fix their mindset a bit. So that's an option there. So we can have that email, email follow-up. So not opened, email follow-up. So that's an option there. In the onboarding, same sort of thing. If they haven't filled out and completed the form by a certain time, we can follow up in a different manner. And every one of those follow-ups that we do will increase our overall conversion percentage. Because if one person then takes action based on this, that's one person who wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you get the idea. We are going to dig into this a lot further in the coming sessions. We're looking at automation next, but before that, let's go back to this. So we're going to use the insights from inversion thinking to adjust and strengthen the journey map. which we've done in a very small way there, but it was more about seeing the gaps. All right, and learn from feedback. So share your map with peers and gather insights on how to improve your approach. We can't see everything ourselves. I'm sure even you at this right now are probably screaming at the screen saying, you've missed this, you've missed that. Maybe I have. I guarantee I have. Because there's plenty of things I thought that I didn't say, but even that, everything I thought, there's something I've missed. So yeah, share it, gather insights. Quick summary of today. So we've been mapping from convert through to promote, step-by-step forward mapping there, and we've been refining that forward map. So action steps for you. And if you don't take these, if you don't open the email, I might send you another one. I don't have any emails connected to these. That was a joke about the map we were just building. Action step number 1, take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? Is it a lot? Are you overwhelmed? I've crammed a lot into a short period of time. It's okay if it's too much. You can come back and watch this anytime you like. You can review it. You can get your own map going. I should have mentioned that at the start. I'd love for you to map along with me in all of these. I think I've mentioned it at the start of a couple, but I didn't mention it this time. So rewind, start again, open your mirror board, and as I'm putting the steps out there, think about your own plan and put it all together. And yeah, complete your forward map. Ensure it covers all the phases from convert through to promote. As I said, promote is a bit amorphous, but have it in there. This is where I want them to go. Because when we know where we want them to go, it's much easier for us to go backwards and figure out how to get them there. And refine and improve. So focus on smooth transitions and client retention strategies. So retention I didn't mention too much, but that's where things like accountability and the intra-session check-ins come in, as well as little milestones that we can figure out as well. That's one I missed. Celebrating milestones. That's super important. Say around the 6th session, say we're halfway through. Speaking of we're halfway through, share this updated journey map with value add. You're halfway through the course. Well done. Thank you for sticking with me. There's much more to come. So, quote for today, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker, create your own future by mapping this out, by planning all of this, making it real, making it tangible, something you can see and feel and touch with your mouse, not really on the screen, unless you print it out and play around with it. But you're creating your future. You're creating their future as well, the future of your clients, by having a plan, having a roadmap that you can take them through. So well done, honestly, congratulations. This is hopefully going to be a game changer for you and for your clients in the future. So please leave a testimonial if you're enjoying the course so far. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. There's a link down below for that. And let's make it happen. Get to it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Welcome back. It is time to automate with purpose. Automate with purpose. Whose purpose? I don't know. Let's dig into it. Automation is my favorite part of all of this. So buckle up, enjoy. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Here is what we are going to cover. Planning and automation framework. Don't try and automate without mapping it out first. Hey, that's the name of the course. Choosing a touch point. So we're going to pick one particular touch point to look at automations around that. Understanding the role of automation, when to use it, when not to use it. We don't want to use it all the time, as much as I love it. But before that, go to YouTube, go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, follow me for more exclusive content, please, at Up Insights Oz, although that's different across the different things, but my links are all down below. And please share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community, and help them out. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. But as a pro tip, you can watch the video in 2x speed, even 3x if it allows you to do that. I don't think it does. I've seen 2.5 before. That's pretty quick. All right, so planning and automation framework. So intended outcomes from this, from the whole section here, we'll have a automation example, you'll plan a simple automation for a key touch point, enhancing your client journey. We'll be laying the groundwork. So this step is crucial for creating a business that runs smoothly and efficiently. So mapping everything out and then automating from there. And streamline for efficiency. Plan how automation fits into your journey. Your client journey, that is, but your own. So choosing a touch point. So identify a key touch point. Focus on a critical phase to see how automation integrates. So look at your journey map. I'm going to do this for us in a second, but look at your own journey map and see what's something that's important that I want to look at bringing in some automation here. Or what's something that takes a lot of time and isn't super important or isn't critical that I do it myself, and that's one that I can automate. And define the objective. Set clear goals for the automation, such as improving onboarding or upselling. So before we go to understanding the role of automation, let's do what we just said, and we will map it out a bit. All right, so this should look very familiar by now. So we've done our reverse route, we've done our forward momentum. Let's build an automation. Now we want to choose a touch point. So we've had a look at a lot of these. We might go with this. You know what? A calendar workflow is always a good thing to have. They're fairly simple. Some of them are inbuilt in things like Calendly, or you can build them yourself using tools like GoHighLevel, which I use. Why don't we go with that, and we'll add a little something extra on the end, a little bit of fun. Why not? Now we have an automation template here, so I'm going to copy and paste this, move it across here, and we're going to figure out our goals. So what do we want this automation to do? So the scenario here, they've booked the appointment. Awesome. So we have our original goal there, is to make them show up for the appointment, and then to handle if they don't. So we've kind of got dual goals here. Really, we'd split it into two automations, but just for the sake of argument, let's make it one. So I'll create a sticky note. Attend call is goal number 1 there. And goal number 2 will be up if no show. All right, so the way to plan any automation is be really simple in the steps that we want to have happen. Very straightforward. So if we have a look at this, basically this is where they convert, is the clarity session. So between here and here is where our first batch of automation is going to occur, where we want them to show up to the session. And the simple thing here, we said decided against it, but the simplest thing is they forget about it. I actually had this happen to me today, although I think it was technical issues, but someone almost no-showed on a call with me and then showed up in the last 5 minutes. We still got through it though. But so the trigger, what's going to cause this chain of events? What's the starting point, the trigger of our automation? Is they book the clarity session. Sorry, it doesn't happen here, it happens here. Yeah, there we go. They book, and then they're either they forget or they're busy with something else. I thought I had that there. Okay, so our trigger here is they've booked the session. Now add or update details. So this is where we put something in our CRM, whatever platform you use. I'm going to speak in high-level terms because that's what I'm used to. Apologies if it doesn't make sense, but we're going to add a tag to the record, and that's just something to let us know. So to the customer record, so we'll say add tag call booked. All right, and then what we want to do straight away, why not? We'll send them a communication. So we're not going to do any internal actions first because the system's already taken the booking there. There's calendars inside of GoHighLevel, it's all built in. So let's put in a communication. All right, and this is just a confirmation email. So we'd send that out. So that's the first thing. To make sure that they attend the call, the very first thing we want to do is let them know that it's worked. They've booked a call, everything is good. Here's the time, here's the date, here's the Zoom link, all of that. Here's who you'll be talking to, and here's what it'll be about. Maybe some details in that confirmation email as well about what's going on there. And then once we've sent that, we don't need to bombard them with information. We just need to wait. Wait for the appointment to roll around. But if we just wait until the appointment happens, they might forget. We've all done it. I've done it, you've done it. You've missed an appointment once in your life. If you haven't, tell me your secrets. How do you manage that? Have you already built all this stuff into your head where it automates and reminds you every 24 hours? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait until 24 hours before. So 24 hours before their appointment, you're going to send them a reminder. All right, so it's 24 hours out. And then we're going to wait again. So a lot of automation is waiting, more than you'd think. It's very timing. Some of it, internal automations, can happen very quickly, like a lot can happen in quick succession. But when we're talking about front-facing automation, things that are going out to, like communications that are going out to clients, most of the time it's just a waiting game. So we'll go 1 hour out, and we'll do a 1 hour reminder. And these would be, in this instance, emails, but we can talk about this later when we talk about walking through as the client. But the communication channel can vary. This could be sent as a text message. It could even be a voicemail. Some fancy tools out there. Okay, and then we're going to wait again. And we'll wait until about 10 minutes out. Okay. And we're going to send that last 10-minute reminder. So this is a pretty standard cadence where when someone books an appointment, you've probably seen it yourself before, where you book something in and then you get a message 24 hours out, you get an hour out, and then either it varies between the 5, 10, and 15 minutes out. I think 10 is good. I like doing 5 minutes sometimes as well. And what I like to do, if there's a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet or something like that that's online, have the link in this email. Make it really easy for them to join. So if they get that 5, 10-minute reminder and they go, oh no, I have to find this on Zoom, I have to find where's the link, it's there. There's no excuse for them to not be able to make it. It's not like we haven't told them. And it's also a good enough cadence where we're not bothering them. Now, something I hear about this is that people will say, won't Google remind them? Won't Samsung, Apple, whatever remind them? Maybe, maybe not. Personally, I don't want to leave it in the hands of Google. I actually, with my calendars, I set it up so it doesn't automatically remind from the calendar itself, and it gives you the option to add it to Google, but it doesn't do that as a default, or at least it shouldn't. So yeah, that's all set up. Now, we said we'd do a little bit extra on the end here, because this kind of is the end, but what happens next? So what happens after they attend the appointment? Did they attend the appointment? This is where we can look at a decision. So we'd also add a wait step here. Now, how long is this call? I think this call was 90 minutes, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to add a wait here. I'm going to wait 2 hours. Okay, so that should be long enough. And then decision, we'll make this blue. Session attended. Nice question mark there. And if it's a yes, that's the end of that chapter. Yes, all good. We might actually, we'll send them another follow-up. Not a follow-up, but a thank you, action steps, that's a good one. Action steps email. We don't need a yes down there. We'll leave it. But more importantly, if they don't show up, what are we going to do then? Well, we're going to send them a rebooking link, I would say. We missed you. Rebooking email. And that would be, potentially that would carry on. So this is how this could be, the trigger there could be if the meeting was marked as no-show, then that could trigger an entire sequence like this, sending out a couple of emails, pushing them to rebook, reminding them, getting them to reschedule. But if it's a yes, we've got action steps here, and what have we got in the workflow? So after that, we've got the offer. So that could include that as well in the email. I mean, generally the offer might be made on the call. But yeah, hopefully this is making sense to you and you can see how we can put this in place. So what that means now is we increase our show rate here, sort of as a default. We aren't going to get people not showing up. We're not going to get fewer people attending the call because of this sequence. More people will attend because we're picking up everyone who would have forgotten. Not everyone, some people will still forget. I have all of this set up and people still forget, or they just decide they don't want to talk to me, which happens. Unfortunately, it's a part of life. But yes, automation is built here. Now, let's have a look. Understanding the role of automation. Before we do that, let's just go back. So we've got our goals there. We attend the call, that's the goal, and then follow up if no show. So that's all covered. And we've got the tag here that we added, call booked, so we know that they booked it in. We'd actually want to add other tags in here. And these are incredibly useful for tracking. Call missed tag. And we'll do that as call showed tag. So now we can differentiate between someone that's, say, here in the workflow, as opposed to someone who's been through the workflow and missed the call, or someone who's been through it and showed up. And we can have a look at maybe removing that tag as well, just for the sake of cleanliness. It's next to godliness. All right, so that is everything there. So this is how we map out an automation. Have it all here on the page so we can see what happens, how it's all meant to work, what it's meant to do. And if we want to tweak it, if we want to add something fancy into it, if we want to add something that goes alongside it, a different automation, we can make sure that they don't clash. It's much simpler to look at in here. And I think I mentioned already the colors are all there because they're the same as the colors in GoHighLevel. And I find it quite useful. It makes it really easy to tell the difference between what's happening. Like I can zoom out here and go, oh yeah, that's probably a tag, email, wait, email, wait, email, wait, email, wait. It's a lot of emails. Something happens here, and then that's probably a no, and that's probably a yes. I like to have the ideal is a straight line going down. This is where we want them to go, and if anything goes wrong, they branch off to the side. The same as we do up here, except it's going right. So, yes, maps are horizontal, automations are vertical, and I've only just figured that out about myself, but that's how I do them. Okay. Yeah, so let's move to understanding the role of automation. So we want to preview what's possible. Hopefully now you can visualize how automation can enhance the client journey. We only showed it in a little bit there, but it's just a matter of, imagine the difference of you've booked an appointment and you don't hear anything. So you don't get a confirmation email, you don't get any follow-ups, you don't get any reminders, you don't even know if it's on. You filled in a form, but is it happening? As opposed to someone sends you the email as soon as you book, you get a follow-up email or reminder 24 hours out, an hour out, 10 minutes out, and then they're there, they're ready to go. Something we missed there is internal automations. You can also send these reminders to yourself as the coach. They're not just for the clients, they're for you as well, so that you don't forget. I've done that too. And there are more options than you think here. It's not just sending emails. You can include a video in the email. You can send a voicemail. You can send a text message. There are plenty of options here to make it a bit extra, which I know isn't necessarily a positive term these days. You're so extra, but have some more going on there than what they're used to and really enhance that experience. See the potential. So imagine how your business could evolve with increased automation. And something I wanted to show here as well is just some Excel math. I'm just going to drag it into this screen. I know we all love Excel. I actually do. Lots of people don't. So what we have here, if you can see, make it easy to look at, we've got standard conversion. So these numbers are semi-made up. They're industry standard. But we've got essentially potential revenue, and this is throughout all the steps of the process. So we've got lead magnet, discovery call, one-off commitment, 12-week program, and then we've got different conversion rates across the board. So 3% of people sign up for the lead magnet. Out of those, 10% sign up for the discovery call. Out of those, 15% then go to the one-off commitment. And out of those, because we've got a good conversion rate, and by here they're pretty happy, 25% of those sign up for the 12-week program. Now what happens if we bump this discovery call, or let's bump the one-off commitment. So let's say because of that, this 15% is with no automation, no nothing, and out of that 85% that doesn't show, that's the people that forget as well. So let's recapture some of those people that forgot, and let's just move this up a bit to 17%, 17.5, and all of a sudden, just with that one shift there, you've got, what's my quick maths here, 53 more people show up to that. I'm looking at this number on a yearly basis, by the way. That's what I'm looking at here. And 64 more people with that same conversion rate will then sign up to the 12-week program, which turns into a revenue increase of 16%. And that's, again, a price for the 12-week program, $2,500. Pluck that out of thin air. Although I think that's reasonable, $200 a session. But yeah, you can see the revenue jumps from that to that with that one change. And if we make these little micro changes across the board, so let's do we increase the follow-ups on the offer there. Maybe this goes up to 27.5%. Well, look at that. That's jumped up quite a bit. Now, with the one-off commitment, we have the same problem in the discovery call with the people that forget. So, let's increase that, and we'll just do a 2.5% increase. So we'll increase it to 12.5%. All of a sudden, with that, so with a couple of little increases, it stacks. It stacks a lot. Whereas, we've got a 60% revenue increase here. If we would have put these all back to normal, as they were, and just try and really focus our sales effort and try and get more people from the one-off commitment into the 12-week program, it makes a difference. It goes bigger, but it's much easier to make smaller tweaks. You'd spend all year working on this, like a 50% conversion rate. Let's just make it 40. So that's the same result there. Whereas little tiny gains across the board will stack, particularly if we can get them earlier on as well. The more lead flow through this pipeline, the more people you can help and the more money you can make. and we can start doing this with less time as well when it comes to automation. So hopefully that's shown you the potential there of what's possible. It does take time, it does take work, I'm not going to lie to you about that, but it is definitely possible. And every big business in the world uses systems and automation, and it's not because they're big business, it's the other way around. It's they got big because they were able to systemize, to build out a client journey like this or a customer journey, find ways to automate that, set processes in place, leverage staff as well. But we don't necessarily need to be that big. We don't need hundreds and thousands of employees. I mean, maybe you do. I don't. I'm doing this all myself, and I hope to keep it that way for as long as possible. Okay. Simple jobs. Anything that does not require creative thinking can be automated easily. If it's meant to be the same every time, so like that email reminder sequence that we just set up for the appointment, that's not really going to change too much. There's not much to it. There's no real creative thinking involved in reminding someone about a set appointment. Things might happen inside of that, which you would handle manually. We wouldn't set up automation for handling for, like, if they reply back saying, hey, can we do this instead? Or, hey, I'm not going to make it, my cat's sick, that sort of thing. I mean, with ChatGPT these days, we probably could do something like that with like an AI booking bot, but we don't need to. That's far too complex. We want to go anything that's simple and easy, where we would do this ourselves, but we don't really have to think about it. If someone misses an appointment, we want to contact them to rebook, especially if they ghost us entirely. If they don't tell us, then yeah, we'll contact them and say what's happened. So yeah, this can all be automated very easily, and there's a lot more in that client journey that we have. There's probably a dozen touch points that can be automated, if not more. Depends how long the journey is. But yeah, doing it all manually will be very difficult. So, a summary. So we've planned out an automation framework. I hope that was clear for you. I know I can get a bit too deep into it. We've chosen our touch point of what we're going to look at automating. I'd recommend you do the same. Pick out one, anyone, and just think. Don't let your imagination limit you. So even if you don't know if it's possible that you can automate this, think these are the steps that I'd like to have happen. And maybe pretend you're not doing it. If you're going to tell someone what to do, you've got a person, you've got a staff member, and these are the steps I would tell them to do. And then potentially, send it to me. I'll probably be able to automate it for you. To a point. It can't make you sandwiches. And understanding the role of automation. So I hope we've covered that as well. I think we have. I think we've covered all of this pretty well. It's a very quick, high-level view of automation. We'll dive into this much deeper in later courses, and we'll be specifically building things out. So, action steps for now. Take a moment. How are you feeling about all this? Is it too much? Is automation not a path that you want to go down? Does it seem scary? Does it seem techy? Does it seem complicated? Or are you really excited? Is this what you're here for? Because I know a lot of my content out in the world is about automation. So if you've come here and you're like, why are we doing the client journey? It's the foundation for all of this. If we don't lay that foundation, the building that we build, the amazing building that is your automated business, is going to fall down. And I do this with all of my clients. The client journey is always the first thing that I build out for them, and then stack the automations on top of that. Plan your automation. Focus on a key touch point in your journey. Pick whatever you like, and again, don't be limited by what you think is possible. Map out all the steps that you think would take place in an automation, and ask me questions. If you're not sure about how it should work, would love to have a chat about it. Could talk about it all day. Review and refine. So ensure that your automation aligns with journey goals. So that should be the very first step of your automation, is figuring out in that little post-it note on the side there, what goal are we trying to accomplish? Why are we automating this? What is the automation achieving? And ensure that aligns with the client goals as well. It's meant to be client-centric. It's meant to be helping them in some way. Automations can be set up that help you, that we can then stack up to help the client. So like saving you time will help your clients, giving you more time for them. But let's focus on one that specifically is front-facing and goes to the client. But yeah, pick and choose. Would love to see what you've picked out. And share it. Share it with value add, share it with the community, share your new automation, and we'll have a look at it. We'll see what you've come up with. I'm quite excited. And we'll see what we can see. So, quote of the day: automation is good so long as you know exactly where to put the machine. And that's Eliyahu Goldratt, a physicist and business consultant, and he is 100% right. You need to know exactly where to put the machine. You need to know what you're automating, why, and how it's going to start, where it's going to end, what's the trigger, what are the conditions. You don't need to know all of that right now, but the point of this is, if we automate without doing all this planning first, it will fall apart, and quickly. It falls apart sometimes when we do all the planning, so without it, it can get very messy very quickly, and I've seen it a million times. So please leave a testimonial. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you. There's a link down below. It helps other people find out about this course and this content and this community, which I hope is pumping and thriving and everyone's having a great time in here. And let's make it happen. Get started. Get your automation mapped. All right. Can't wait to see it. Talk to you soon. Hello again. It is time for navigating detours, because no journey would be complete without one. And they happen a lot. So let's dive right into it. Here's what we're going to cover today. Identifying gaps in your journey. I know we've already done that a bit. Practical refinement. So how we can look at those gaps and see them as opportunities. Using inversion thinking. We've done that a bit as well. We're going to go a bit deeper into it today. We're going to be very, very negative, but for the right reasons. But before we do all that, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn for more content like this and more automation style content, which we had in the last video. Yeah, follow me there. That'll be nice. And share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this community, this course, and the community, the value add community. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you're not, let me know. I'd love to make it better. I'm still building this, so there are probably detours and gaps in this journey that I don't know about, and I would love to hear about them. Warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Please watch the entire video. Don't skip, don't fast forward. But pro tip, watch the video in 2x speed to get done with it sooner. Get that knowledge really crammed in really quick. So, identifying gaps in your journey, your client journey specifically. So the intended outcomes for today: refining for success. So we want to identify and close key gaps in your journey. So we might not find them all, but we'll find some. Excuse me. And we'll find some big ones as well, hopefully. And ensuring a smooth flow. So this refinement ensures your client journey flows seamlessly. So what we want to have happen is, from start to end, everything reasonable has been considered, all the different paths that someone can go down, all the different places they can fall off, and we've covered for that. We've thought of it before they have. And this won't always be the case, but I think that lines along well with continuous improvement, focusing on closing gaps and enhancing the journey as we go along. We're not going to get everything on the first run. If we get everything we can think of on the first run, that's amazing. But as your business goes live, and I'm sure it already is live, and you probably know this already, you don't need me to tell you, things happen. Stuff will come up that you never even considered as a possibility. No one's ever asked you this before. No one's wanted this. Yeah, it's hard to imagine things that you can't imagine, but they're out there, they happen. So, practical refinement. So, step-by-step identification, gap identification. I missed the gap. Use Miro to map out and close gaps. Refine the journey map, so make necessary adjustments to ensure a seamless experience. So why don't we do that now? So we're going to go into Miro, we're going to map the gaps, and we're going to see what we can find. We're going to use our inversion thinking. So I'm just going to copy this here because we're going to look at the big picture, the very big picture. Oh, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted that to happen. There we go. And we're going to take everything from inside of here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it down here, move it across. The sizing's different, that's all right. And I'm going to delete this here because that's actually the same step. And there we go. We've got our complete client journey as it currently stands. Yeah, a bit missized, but that's all right. So all in one place. And you can see there's a lot of space down the bottom here. Maybe too much. Maybe I can resize some of this a bit. Yeah, that's better. This is the beauty of Miro, is that it sort of figures out everything that's going on. All right, it's a little bit messy, but that's okay. If you're not making a mess, then what are you doing with yourself? Have some fun. So let's start right from the beginning. So we've sort of done this already. So yeah, click the link, didn't click the link. So let's not figure out why they didn't do things. Let's just see what could be the case. So I'm going to move this all the way down here. No, I'm not. I'm just going to make this a straight line. Because unlike with my automations where I go to the right when things go wrong, I'm going to go down when things go wrong. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to create a decision point here. There's going to be a lot of this. This is also why I made it so much bigger. Clicked. So that's our yes. We'll do a Y. And we're going to do a no. Going to make that red. Going to flip that around, and we're going to say no. Didn't click. Okay, so that's then how we're going to handle this. Are we going to do anything about it? Maybe not. Maybe this is, if we're running ads, part of our retargeting campaign. So no, not even then, because they haven't done anything to warrant retargeting. So that's, it could go wrong there, but it's not something that we're going to handle for. All right, I'm going to stretch everything out. Send it all the way to the end here. And whoop, pulls myself back. Just so we have gaps between each one to make those decision points. That's all I'm doing here. So you might want to do that yourself, is just stretch everything out. So they've clicked the link, and then they go to the 5 steps landing page. Okay. So what happens here? They view the page. So let's say they bounce. So they don't make it to the page. Let's call them page loads. Because if they bounce, that means that they've just clicked on it. but then they've never actually had the page load up for them, whether that's because they accidentally clicked it and clicked the back button, but it didn't load. All right, and we'll do this over and over again. I may not do heaps of these. I might just do a couple to show you how it works. All right, our decision point here. Our little diamond. Enter details. All right. So we're being very simple here. It's just yes or no. Does the action we want them to take happen? Didn't complete. So then the next step from here, completing the lead form, what do we want to happen? Is the email is sent out. Now there's a couple of different things here that could happen. We will just say email sent and email not sent, or you know what? Email is received, not sent. And then again, we're forgetting about our reasoning here. It's what's the alternate of this? Okay, so email is not received. And we have gotten very granular here. So with yours, you might be looking at bigger steps and think about, let's have a look. I'll see if we've got one here that's less detailed. Onboarding. Onboarding is a good one because maybe there's like 5 things that need to happen as part of the onboarding process. So that in itself is, if I was to try and say, did onboarding happen, yes or no? It's more of a continuum than that. It's not a yes or no question. It's maybe how well did onboarding happen. You know, and we can look down into, maybe there's 5 key parts of onboarding. So maybe they get on a call, they fill in a survey form, they complete a document, so they sign a contract, they receive an invoice, and they pay an invoice. So maybe that's all part of onboarding as an example. So that one onboarding step is really actually 5 steps. So we can look at all of those as individual pieces and say, do these all happen? Do they have to happen in order? Maybe not necessarily, but they all need to happen to get to the next step. Or maybe some of them aren't always needs. Some of these are wants. So that could be as soon as they accept the offer, onboarding, we want that to happen in a certain period. So we want them to get confirmation straight away, or within 5 minutes, they get some form of reward for accepting the offer there, which is just you saying, hey, that's fantastic. So this is what we can look at here. So I don't know if I'm going to go too further with this right now, simply for the reason that I don't want to drag this out too much. But I hope this makes sense to you here. You can start to see what is going on and really using our problem finding brain, not our problem solving brain. Use our inversion thinking to see where, out of all the little steps that they have to take, all these little touch points, what are the alternates here? So even as simple as here, the email's received, but they don't download the guide. So they don't download the lead magnet. If they don't open the document, if they don't look at the lead magnet, how can they ever receive value from that document? I'm sure they can receive value in other ways, but that's where we would follow up with them. So yeah, we keep going through and put, like we see we've already done one here. So maybe they visit the landing page, but they don't book a clarity session. This might be one that we could actually track and retarget and say, hey, I saw you visited the landing page, but you didn't book in. What's going on? So that would be another decision point here. And we would say, book clarity session. Now this is actually an interesting one in both of these actually, because this is where we've built a straight line. It's not a straight line in reality, right? Things can happen where, so let's say we're going to create a detour. That's what this is all about, isn't it? We're talking about ways off and try and bring them back, but we don't have to bring them back to the next step, I guess is what I want to get to. With all of these, we would do something to try and get them back to here. So we want to get them back to here. We want to get them back to here in one way or another. And it's not always simple. But let's say this one here didn't load. We can't really get them back to any stage here. But it's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility, depending on how your business works. Are you openly advertising this clarity session, or do they have to go through the lead magnet first? This is not outside of the realm of possibility. That's what happens. I'm just going to switch this around so it's a bit clearer. Okay. So yeah, maybe from here, this person, they get to, so here's the client journey, right? They see the LinkedIn post, they click on the link, the page sort of half loads and they don't bother, and then through another post, so we'll add another step in here. That was not what I was trying to do. We'll add another step in here, and we'll call that an Instagram reel, because you're not just on Facebook, you're on Instagram as well. So they have that, and it's offering, it wouldn't take them right there, sorry, it would take them to a landing page, and this is about the clarity session. So this is a detour as well. So something very strange has happened. So this is a possibility. This maybe isn't the ideal journey, but that on its own, like this could be a LinkedIn, an Instagram reel here, takes them down this path. But then maybe if you're having offers set up to go to different steps, which is not unreasonable, we don't need to put them through this whole journey every time. People can skip steps. There are detours. So this might be the thing, is that they get here a different way, and hey, then we didn't have to worry about all of this. And then what might happen is they get here, they book their clarity session, and they don't attend, and they could potentially, their next action might be all the way back here. They see a different LinkedIn post, but it's for the same thing, and they go, actually, you know what, I didn't quite get the vibe of that clarity session, but it seemed a bit advanced for me. Maybe I'll just check out this these 5 steps. So this is all entirely possible. Just because we've laid it out in a nice straight line, this is the ideal journey. There are multiple different ways that can go about it. You can have people that will enter into your 12-week program. Again, that depends if it's front-facing, but you might just get on a call with someone, a discovery call, and they go, yes, I really want your help. I've made a snap decision. I'm committing for 12 weeks. I'm in. And they could end up being your best client. It happens. Yeah, that's what we want to look at here. So first things first, I would say go through and find all the decision points in the straight line. I know I kind of jumped around here, but then think about other ways that things can happen. Just be aware of them. You don't need to map every single eventuality out, but it's something to be aware of is how we can bring them out and how they can drop out and how we look at bringing them back in. What do we want to do in that scenario? So it's going to be a lot of the same sort of thing, and we can look later at how specifically we're going to deal with these, like what communication channel are we going to use, what email sequence are we going to use, how many emails are we going to send, when are we going to give up, that type of thing. But really, all it is when someone drops off this ideal journey, if we've got this mapped out properly, where these are all of the steps that we want them to take in order, this is what's best for the average client, let's say, is to receive a small bit of value, then a bigger bit, then a bigger bit, then a bigger bit. Then that's the journey we want to put them on. If they jump in halfway, that's fine, that's up to them. But we want to take them on this straight line. This is where it's going. This is the way that it makes sense. And if they fall off, we want to bring them right back in. Ideally as quickly as possible. So like we have here, does not attend, we got the follow-up email sequence, books them back in. And then after they attend it, if they don't gain clarity, that's a harder one to solve for, but it might be the case. And maybe it's a matter of booking them back in. Maybe it's that they were having a bad day, they weren't able to break their beliefs and gain clarity, which, I mean, clarity on a singular issue, overall clarity, if you get that in one session, very impressive. And if that's the case, then we don't really need to make them the offer for a 12-week program because they're sorted. So have a look at these different areas where they fall off and see how we can bring them back to either the same stage again or to the next stage. Also with all of these, so this here, the 12 session plan, it will be the same or similar error handling, I guess we can call it, for any different thing. So each of these 12, even though the sessions themselves will be different, it's the same potential problems. Is they don't book, they don't show up, they don't take action, and can loop back around. All right, I think that is pretty much it on this one. Let's jump back to the presentation. If I have not been clear about this, or you think that there's not enough information in here, please let me know. Because it is difficult in 30 minutes to try and go through the whole thing, which is why I didn't try to do it. But I hope that all makes sense, and I hope that when you go to do it, it will make sense to you, and you can start to pick it up there and start to figure out when things are different, when something can be broken down into smaller steps, when there's different paths there, and when it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, it matters, but it's not the end of the world. So, like we said, this person, the page didn't load, but down the track on their journey, they saw something else. They saw an ig reel. That is not how we spell it at all. They saw an Instagram reel of yours that brought them all the way up to here, to the clarity session. Okay. Now, using inversion thinking. So we can spot the weak points, consider potential pitfalls, and address them. So that's kind of what we were trying to do there, is we go through. With your specific journey, it might be easier to spot those weak points and find out where things are going wrong in your business. So with what I've built here, where is it? There it is. It's hard to tell because this is sort of an abstract concept from a case study that I've made up. But let's have a look. Let's see if I've got anything in here. So, yeah, time management is an issue of Sarah's. She's our case study. She spends too much time on client sessions and administrative tasks. So time management is an issue. Then maybe a weak point here might be around the sessions. So especially if this stacks. So this is a failure point, because if she gets one client a week ongoing and they sign up for these, which would be fantastic, we love that, but very quickly, after that, by the time that first 12 weeks is over, she's getting 12 sessions done a week, which maybe isn't that bad. That's probably reasonable. Let's say she gets 3 new clients a week. That will stack up very quickly to 36 clients per week. Add to that onboarding new clients, add to that clarity sessions. It can get overloaded fairly quickly. Also, you can see your own gaps in there as to, I don't have anything here for if this happens, if they don't book. That's a gap in itself. So yeah, the weak points there are when you don't have anything to handle for it. So there's nothing set up for if this situation occurs, I don't know what I'm doing. I probably shouldn't say I don't know what I'm doing. I do. Anyway, apply inversion thinking. So identify and resolve issues to improve the client experience. So we've been doing that. We go through and we think, what can go wrong? How can we make the worst client experience possible? That's something we didn't touch on too much, but it's how can we make it difficult? How can we make it complicated? How can we make it painful for them? And the reason, again, that we think of all that is because when we come through that on the other side and invert it, then we come up with how we can make it good. So let's go back. I want to dive into this a little bit deeper. And we'll go into onboarding again. So onboarding, how can we make the worst onboarding experience possible? We'll make it slow to start with. We'll make it slow. They have to fill in a bunch of forms, 20 forms. Yeah. We will make it difficult to understand. We will make it boring. Sure. What else would be bad? I think I already said long, time consuming, labor intensive, confusing. I might be repeating myself here, but this is how we apply it. So if we, I should probably write some of these down. All right. So we're going to make it long, boring, and confusing. So 3 there. So that's what we're going to do. That's the worst onboarding possible. Long, boring, confusing, and complicated, which is probably the same. Let's say difficult. And then we can go to specifically how we would do that. So maybe they have to sign up for, they've got to be 5 different onboarding sessions, right? It's very long and that's very difficult. 5 different 1-hour onboarding sessions. I don't want to do that, neither do you. And they're boring. It's someone just sitting there talking at them the whole time. Very boring, I don't know, legal stuff, which is maybe necessary, but it's more to the point. And it's confusing. A lot of jargon is used. Doesn't make sense to them. So, what's the opposite of this? Say it's quick. It is fun. It is simple. Or maybe understandable. Easy to, we'll go simple. Simple and easy are 2 different words. And it's easy. So because we were able to figure out all of these, this is what we should be going for. How do we do this? Well, we can then do exactly the same of what makes it long. Like I said, the 5 sessions, quick, 1 session, 1 and done. One, if we can, cut that down as much as possible. Make as much as you can happen outside of the actual session. All right, something's going on with my video. I don't know how to fix it. I'm going to keep going, so I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. I'm pretty sure my audio is fine. It was last time when this happened and I didn't realize. So, long, boring, confusing, difficult. We want to switch that to quick, fun, simple, and easy. So how we would do this is by then going through all of the different ways that this happens. So as I was saying, if we want to make it quick, we want to condense that into 1 session. We want to make it simple to understand. We want to make it fun. We want to be nice. We want to be happy. And we want to make it easy for them. Anything that doesn't have to happen with them involved, like, I don't know, creating a Google Drive for them, they don't need to be on the call for that. And honestly, I have an automation built, I can show it to you, that creates a Google Drive with all the relevant documents for them without you having to do it either. we can do this for you too. We can make it quick, fun, simple, and easy for both of you. But this is the thought process that you should go to, is how can I make this terrible? How can I make this awful? And then do the opposite. It's a very useful tool, and I highly recommend trying it out in your life. Whenever you are thinking of making anything as good as it can be, and you're thinking, I can't figure out how to do this, my imagination is just not working, we are better at finding problems than we are at finding solutions. So just flip it. Always invert. What could possibly go wrong? Like your video freezing. Explore avenues that seem unlikely. If nothing else, it's a good thought experiment. Go through this and think, this probably wouldn't happen. Sure, that doesn't make sense. Why would anyone do that? They will do it. And now, our summary. We are at the end of this video, not the course, a little bit more to go. But we've gone through identifying gaps in your journey, how to spot them, how to look through it. Some practical refinement there, so figuring out how to fill those gaps, how to fix them, and using inversion thinking. So how we can utilize that as a tool in conjunction with practical refinement there to figure out the best ways to solve problems and how to create a really, really excellent client experience. So action steps for you. Take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? This was a bit of a bumpy ride today. We did take some detours and it happened live. So if you're feeling a little confused, feeling concerned, if you think I don't know what I'm doing because I said that out loud, out of context though, take a moment, relax, chill out, got you covered. If you're feeling excellent about this and you're very excited to get started, fantastic, love to see it. That was my thumb. Yeah, can't wait to see what you can do with this. Review and refine, that's what you can do with it. Close all the gaps and ensure a smooth client journey. So I'd like you to go through your existing journey map that you've built out, like I did, take them, put them together into one. We've got one big thing there, and close all the gaps there, all the gaps that you can find. You don't need to find all of them. They will become apparent later down the road. And apply some inversion thinking. So use this approach to enhance your journey map. So as you go through and you find those gaps, even just in the ideal journey, what could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? And share with the value add community. So share your refined map with the community when it's done. Use all these minds that we have together. People can spot things that you can't, I guarantee it. So yeah, having a group of people together makes this whole thing a lot easier. And a quote of the day: the road to success is always under construction. Very, very true. That's Lily Tomlin, actress and comedian. Very funny lady. Yeah, something to keep in mind is that it's never going to be perfect. And this is the road to our own success as well as the road to client success. So we're always going to keep building on this. It's continuous improvement. On ourselves and on our client journey and on our automations when we get there. Please leave a testimonial. I'd really appreciate it if you're enjoying this course so far, if you've gotten something out of it, if you learned something you didn't know before, or if you've been reminded of something that you forgot. I would really appreciate it. It helps more people find the course, more people come in and get to learn all this stuff as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And let's make it happen. Get mapping and find those gaps, find those detours. All right, talk to you soon. Hello, welcome back. Welcome to part 7. This is where we're talking about the client perspective. As you can see, let's get right into it. So here's what we're going to cover today. Finalizing your journey map. We are almost there. Role playing as the client. So we'll go through and we'll refine the key phases, or refine a key phase rather. We'll go look at one in particular. But before we do any of that, please follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. Follow for more exclusive content up Insights Oz. We'll have all the links down below. And please share this course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community. Anyone that can get value out of this, anyone that you can add value to, please let them know. I'd appreciate it, and so would they. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. And a pro tip, watch the video on 2x speed, just to get through it a bit quicker. So, finalizing your journey map. This is the good stuff. We're very, very close to done here, although we're never really done, and we'll talk about that a bit as well. So, finalizing your journey map, intended outcomes. We're going to create a client-centric map. So we're going to align your journey map with the client's experience, ensuring satisfaction. Not just satisfaction, but a step above satisfaction as well. Delight, I think, is a common word that's used. But the goal of this entire course is not just to create a map, but to create one that creates an excellent client experience. So the whole way through it, every turn, they should be happy, they should be loving life, and they should be thanking you for it. Even if only in their head. Not every step. We don't deserve thanks. Maybe we do. We shouldn't expect them. Ensuring client satisfaction. So finalizing your journey map to delight clients at every stage. So we'll go through that as well. And focus on client centricity. So I've hit the same beat here 3 times, but we want to view the journey from the client's perspective. That's the most important part. Really, honestly, because we can get a bit lost in our own heads about what we think is right and what we think is best, and it is about them. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's about you. And it's not about you. It's about them. And that's what we want to really hit on today, is going through from their perspective. So, role-playing as a client, that's how we do it. We think about our client. We build out a bit of a client avatar. Now, I might include a worksheet on how to do this if you don't have one already. It's fairly simple, and ChatGPT can help you a lot with this. I've actually got a custom GPT that is my client avatar that I can talk to, and that's super useful. I might make a YouTube video about that. But role-playing as a client, we want to think like a client. We want to walk through our journey map from a client's viewpoint and make final adjustments. So refine the map to ensure it meets client expectations. So let's have a look at that right now. I pressed the wrong button. All right, so we are back at our journey map here. And this is the same. So this is for Sarah that I've built this. And let's have a look. I've got some thoughts here about what her clients might like. So this is from GPT. I'll share it here, why not? So GPT has come together to tell us about Sarah's target audience. So their mindset and values, they're growth-oriented, purpose-driven, they desire independence, they have busy schedules, they're health-conscious, they're learning enthusiasts, they're overwhelmed and overworked, they lack clarity and confidence, they have a fear of failure. So a couple of different details here as to what's important to them. So they crave clear guidance on what steps to take to grow their business. That's an interesting one. Clear guidance, action steps all the way through. I think that's a best practice anyway. As you could probably tell, I've been giving you action steps at the end of each one of these videos. Support and community. Hey, I like that one too. Efficiency and balance. So yeah, there's a couple of different things here that we want to have a look at. And then we've got some information on how we can apply it to our customer journey map. But let's dig into it. So we're going to walk through. Just reviewing some of this now to see what's important to them. Okay. All right. So from here, so we've got a LinkedIn post. So we're going to pretend we're a client. I'm going to pretend I'm one of Sarah's ideal clients, and that would make me a female entrepreneur aged 25 to 40 who has started their business but needs support with mindset, clarity, and overcoming self-doubt to grow further. So that's me now, the magic of transformation and pretending. All right, so I see a LinkedIn post, and it speaks to me. It speaks to those key points. Let's pick one. It's about self-doubt. So I see a post about self-doubt, and that takes me through to, yeah, that's actually perfect, because the 5 steps here is about 5 steps to overcoming self-doubt and growing my business. So that's it. I'm a business owner, and I doubt myself a lot. And I'm worried about it. I'm thinking it's not right. So I see that post. It's about that. It's specific to that topic. Cool. I click in. So I click the link, and it comes through to this landing page. Now, this landing page here should be aligned with that post. So this should be very much about overcoming self-doubt. Here's the ways to do it. This is what you need to do. If you download this lead magnet, I'll give you the 5 key steps to overcoming it. And that aligns very well with what I want. Now, looking at some other things here. So what's important to me? I'm growth oriented. I want to grow. So that's something we can include in there as well in the copy. I'm purpose driven. I'm busy as well. So this doesn't need to be a long, one of those landing pages that goes on forever. It could be short. That could be part of the client experience. The difference between a short and a long landing page does make a difference. And it is part of the experience there. Learning enthusiast, it could be about learning. Fear of failure could be something that's spoken to in that. So let's go back to it. So this is where we can put together the landing page itself is part of the overall deal. Even though we've got here, do they complete it? Don't they? Complete the lead form. We'd want to have a look at this landing page and optimize it to speak to our client. Right? So it needs to speak to me as a female entrepreneur who's struggling with self-doubt. And that's something we can do here. So if we're seeing issues with conversion from landing page to lead form, that's something you want to look at. Now we've got an email is sent out when we complete the lead form. So I've gone through, I've completed the form. I really want to learn about this. And then let's say I don't receive the email. All right, so that's what I want. I'm time poor. I want it fast. I want it quick. I want it easy. So having that email sent straight away, making sure it hits the inbox, making sure it's obvious and clear. And then when I receive that, so the email is received, I've got the 5 steps guide. Now, what I want as a potential customer here is I want 5 quick, easy steps that I can implement and see results quickly. And that's what you as a coach would want to give them as well. It's something really easy, some quick wins. That's what we're after here. And if I don't get that, or if it doesn't align with something that I like, some of my values, so let's go back. So with my lifestyle, so I'm busy. So if one of the 5 key tips is, take 3 hours a day to meditate, that's not going to work for me. That doesn't align. So if it doesn't match these desires of support and community, if it doesn't give me clarity and direction, if it's not a thing of efficiency and balance. So we have to keep all of these things in mind as part of our journey. And this could be reworking this, but it could be how it's packaged as well, how it's delivered. You can package the same thing. I could package this entire course as a PDF, and that might work better for some people. I feel that this way is the best for my audience because we can get really detailed, we can get really granular with it. But I could do the same thing as a worksheet, honestly. All right, and then from that, so they've received the email with the link for the clarity session. So that's the logical next step, is I'm overcoming my self-doubt. I'm feeling like I can do it. It is possible, but I'm still confused about how. So coming up next, so that would be the email chain there. I've got a link to visit the landing page to book my clarity session. Now, as a customer, what do I think about this clarity session? I mean, it sounds good. It sounds right. It sounds like, I've done this stuff. I'm believing in myself more and more. But for me to believe in myself, I really need to be clear about what I want and how I'm going to get it. That's the next logical step. That makes sense for me. So I visit the landing page there, and then this is another, I guess, a moment of truth, is does that align with what I've been seeing so far? Is it completely different? Is it the same? This is where things like branding, brand colors come in. Just making it look the same. If it's completely different, if one page is bright blue and the other one is bright orange, I might get confused. Am I in the same place? Is the wording, is the language, is the messaging the same? It should potentially, if people aren't visiting this landing page directly, there could be a version of it that comes directly from this 5 steps guide. So we can do 2 landing pages, one for the world and one for the people that come in from this link, that speaks to them saying, hey, I see you've downloaded the 5 steps guide. I hope you found it valuable. Have a look at this. And it could really connect there with the messaging. All right, now then from there, we've got the clarity session. That's great. Clarity session is attended. I went through it. I liked it. I gained clarity. Now the offer is made here for the 12-week program, and we haven't mapped this out yet. But I'm going to balk at that. I think it's maybe a bit too much. It's outside of my price range for now. It sounds good, but it doesn't sound quite right for me. So what we're going to do, because I've said no, we're going to follow up. So we've got the follow-up email that comes out with the action steps, and I like that a lot. So this is separate to the offer that's made. This is just around my clarity session, what I have to continue to do to receive clarity. So that's been sent, but I missed it. I'm busy. I didn't see the email come through. And there's nothing in place here at the moment. So all we've got here, not opened, another email follow-up. So yeah, I missed this. I missed that. And then a couple of days later, another email comes through saying, hey, I saw you missed it. These are the action steps. I'm really happy that we had a clarity session. I think it went really well. Please, this will be valuable for you. Check it out. Here they are again. That is something to me. It's considerate. Sarah understands that I can't read every email. But this one's important to me, and I did miss it, and I'm glad she checked in with me again to come back and do it. And because that happened, that sort of pushed me over the edge here. I've decided, you know what, she really does care. She's going to make the effort, because aside from this being a bit expensive, what I really doubted was if it's going to work for me. Is it going to work? Which is a reasonable objection that comes up a lot. Is sure, it works, but will it work for me? Is this person the right fit? And this little thing here, this little follow-up email, maybe let's call it an SMS. Let's change that quickly. Different channel, because I'm busy, I'm trying to grow my business, I can't read all my emails, but something popped up on my phone and said, hey, I sent this, it's an important email, check it out. It will help you, and it did. So yeah, that's been sent out. I got it on my phone, looked at it straight away, went through the action steps, got a lot of value again, and put something in place there. And because of that, it's made the difference. I'm going to go ahead with this 12-week program. And then from there, as soon as we get set up, we've got onboarding. So I've accepted the offer. Yes, Sarah, I want to work with you. And as soon as I say yes, immediately I get a response back saying, great, happy to go. Within the next 5 minutes, that email comes out. Here's everything you need to do to get started. It's clear, it's laid out, it's quick, fun, simple, and easy, like we talked about. It's not long, boring, confusing, and difficult. And I love that. It's a great first impression. I feel like I've made the right choice. I'm validated, I'm excited. And then we go into the first booking. And then we continue around through all of these. Each session is good. There's some where I'm not able to make it. I didn't show up to this one. Let's say this is the 5th session. I'm busy. It happens. And because of that, so with me not showing up, we haven't mapped it out here again. But let's pretend that this automation back here is in place for all of them. I get a rebooking email. And then I go in and rebook again. And it's all good. So very happy with that. That when I missed a session, it's not angry. It's not saying, hey, where were you? I got all the reminders and it happened. But reinforcing that positive experience there and saying, you know what, you missed it. That's all right. We'll book it another time and continue going there. And yeah, let's say after the 3rd session, I get that feedback request. This is pretty interesting to me that Sarah wants to know how she's going. Am I getting value out of it? What can she do differently to help me? I think everything's great, so I don't say anything. I just say it's great. It's good, I'm happy. And then after the 6th session, I get a testimonial request. And that's good as well. I've gotten a lot of value out of this, and I think that's fair. I'm happy with that. It's nice, it's polite. I don't provide it in the first instance because I'm busy. That happens. And I get like a gentle follow-up. Maybe another text message, because that's really my preferred channel of communication. So all of this is looking pretty good to me right now. I did all right, if I do say so myself. And then at the end, after the 12 sessions are done, Sarah says, hey, we're making great progress. You're doing fantastic. I love it. Do you want to book another 12 sessions? And I say, yes, this has really helped. All this, I love the way that you operate. I love what we're doing here. It's really clean. It's really easy. It's fun. It's simple. And I'm learning a lot. So I go back through here and it continues on again. And I become a promoter. I start telling my friends about it. I start saying, hey, Sarah is amazing. She's helped me so much. Get in on it. You should really sort this out. So now we've walked through as a client there. Now, all of this has been fairly positive. I haven't had too many bad things to say, so maybe I did too good a job in mapping it out. Because what we want to find here with this is what doesn't work. All right, what do we want to change? So maybe here in the clarity session, when they've booked it in, they don't attend, maybe this follow-up email sequence is a bit too much. Maybe we don't have 2 or 3, we've got 14 emails. And as a potential client, I booked the session, but I missed it. I didn't attend, and I'm actually not that interested anymore. And continuing to receive email after email asking me to book in again, for the next month is not a positive experience for me. It's actually saying, and the tone is not right for me. It feels like Sarah's really chasing me and she's mad at me that I missed the session. And I don't want to work with someone who gets mad at me if I make a mistake. That's not good for me. So this can be where tone comes into it, the number of emails. It's a difficult balance to find, and it is just testing a lot of it. And I don't want people to, the mistake that most people make that I work with is they're too shy about sending emails. I don't want to bother people. In the reality of the world and all the emails that you receive, how many emails do you receive a day? I get about 30. Receiving an email from someone every day isn't bothersome so much. If you leave it too long, especially when they've done something like this, like when they've booked a session, this follow-up sequence, 4 or 5 emails, 1 a day, or a text message as well, particularly because they're very engaged at this point, it's not unreasonable to do that. And don't be afraid to do it as well. Don't think I don't want to bother them. Earlier on in the piece, it might be the case that we don't want to bother them, but whenever someone's shown interest, we don't want to let them forget about us. And that's what happens. More than us bothering them and badgering them and saying, work with me, work with me, work with me, people forget more often. And you won't have fewer people work with you the more emails you send, as long as the cadence is right. Sending an email every 5 minutes for the first hour is probably overkill, but use your best judgment on that. But if you're worried about bothering people, do more than you think. It's the people that aren't worried about bothering people that are more problematic, because they tend to go a bit nuts with it. So, refining a key phase. So, hands-on finalization. So, focus on refining a specific phase, ensuring it aligns with the client's needs. So, for you, I'd like you to pick out just one phase, whichever you'd like. Subscribe, convert are good ones to start, depending on where you are in your business. Whatever you think needs the most attention. Onboarding might be it. Where do you think, or where can you see, especially if you're tracking metrics, where are things sort of breaking down a bit? Go through that in that same style that we've just done. And applying client feedback. Adjust the journey based on potential client reactions. If you already have people coming through your pipeline, talk to them. Talk to them, ask them what they think. Don't ask one person every single step. Did you like that? Did you not like that? But have some mechanisms in place where you can find out what they did or didn't like, and even just talk to them in a session. Okay, quick summary. So we covered finalizing your journey map. So we want to go through as the client and tweak what we need to, but make sure you have all of those different alternate paths in, all the different detours, that sort of thing. Role play as a client, go through it, go through the alternate paths as much as you can. Think about how they'd react with each different step as they get to it. And refine a key phase. So just focus on one. You don't need to have to do you don't have to do the whole thing. Just find a particular phase right now to refine and sort of get very granular on it. Think about different things, brainstorm different options there as to how people could react, and some action steps. All right, take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? So it can be a bit difficult to walk in the client's shoes, and it might seem a bit odd. Might seem really easy as well. So potentially you're feeling awesome about this, you're excited to do it. Maybe, if you have a client that you've worked with for a while and you're really close with, and they're sort of the perfect client, you love them, they love you, share this with them. Say, hey, I'm trying to do this, can you do me a favor? What do you think of this structure? If you were to go through this, what do you think? Or ask a friend, ask a family member, someone that sort of fits the profile but you're not working with. But yeah, finalize your journey map. Review it and refine it for client centricity. So have a look at each step and think, how does this serve the customer? How does this serve my client? And if you can't find a way that it does that, maybe it doesn't need to be there. Keep in mind, indirect service, saving you time, keeping you fresh, improving your own skills, serves the client in an indirect manner. So something to keep in mind there. And role play as a client. So walk through the journey from the client's perspective and identify any adjustments. So as we've said, go through it, see what you can find. Try and make at least one change. Maybe you got it perfect the first time round, but maybe not. Consider the different options there from the client's perspective. And share it with value add. Share your finalized map with the community. I'm sure we'd all love to see it. I know that I would. And I'm sure you've probably benefited from seeing other people's journey maps in there. So it's pretty much ready to go now. Now that we've done this, it should be ready for implementation. I hope it's ready for implementation because that is what we're doing next. A little sneak peek. Quick quote, the customer's perception is your reality. And this is 100% true. That's Kate Zabriskie. She's a customer service expert. You can have the best offer in the world, the best service in the world, the best product. If the customers don't like working with you, it doesn't matter. It is all about them. And that's what I want to drill into all of you. I'm sure you already know because you're people focused. You don't get into the coaching business if you don't care about people. But the key to all of this is making sure that the customer experience, the client experience is exceptional throughout, and how to make that as easy as possible for you to do that. And that's why we're mapping it all out, so we have clarity on it. So please leave a testimonial if you've been getting value out of this course. I really appreciate it. There's a link below. And let's make it happen. Finalize your map, go through it as the client, and post it in the community. Love to see it. All right, thanks a lot. Hey, welcome back. Number 8, the final video in this series. Making it happen, the most important part. Let's dive right into it. We'll get started. So here's what we're going to cover. Implementing your journey map, iteration and flexibility, continuous improvement, and your next steps. So before we do that, please follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the socials. Follow for more exclusive content. I talk more about automation and implementation on most of those, although there is some more of this theory type stuff as well. Check it out. I'd love to have you there, and I can give you some more free value. Share this course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course and the value add community, particularly if you've enjoyed it and you've got a lot of value out of it so far. I assume if you've made it this far in, then you have gotten some value out of it, so I'd really, really appreciate that. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. But a pro tip, you can watch the video in 2x speed. So, implementing your journey map. Some intended outcomes here. Ready for implementation, develop a clear plan to implement your client journey. So this is separate from the journey we've made when I say develop a plan. Develop a plan of how you're going to do this. And I have some thoughts on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But figure out what you're going to put in first. What steps are most crucial, because we can't do everything all at once. Pick one step at a time. Continuous improvement. So we want you to learn strategies to iterate and keep your journey effective. We have to keep coming back to it and coming back to it, not every day, but every month or so, whenever something new pops up that we think about, we want to be coming back to this map and putting it in there. I do it all the time. So from planning to action, implement your journey map starting with the most critical phases. Now, this will vary from person to person. Some key ones are lead inflow, so that subscribe stage. Make sure that that's dialed in because that's where people are coming through. Convert and excite are good. And the onboarding step as well is really important there. We want to bring them in, we want to validate their decision. And the last stages as well are really, really important to have. I guess they're all really important, but you decide what's most important for you, where the biggest bottleneck in your business is, and where you think you can provide the most value in an ongoing capacity. So making it easier for them to get in, making it better for them to stay, those are the two key ones there. And start small and scale up. So begin with a core phase and then expand as the journey proves effective. So we don't want to implement everything all at once, as we've just said. Start with something, implement it, test it, tweak it, implement again, and see how it works before moving on to something bigger or more complex. We don't need to implement a 30 email nurture sequence when we're still trying to figure out how to send out the lead magnet and make sure it hits the inbox and people open it and get that initial upfront value. So use your best judgment on that, but make a plan, start building, have some timelines if you like. They're always good for getting things done. But that's what I'd like you to do, and this is how I'd like you to do it. That being said, it's just me. Use your best judgment. Iteration and flexibility. So ongoing refinement. Regularly review and adapt your journey map to evolving business needs. We can't just set and forget. As much as I'm in the automation world and the whole thing's about set and forget, we can't set and forget forever. We need to come back and check on things. We need to come back and refine it. And your business may shift. It may change. We need to adapt that. So if you want to bring in a new product, you want to bring in a new service, maybe you've got a course that you want to include or a community on school. It's a good plan, I think. I hope it is, because that's what I'm doing. You need to find a way to fit that into the journey map. Maybe take something out, maybe just enhance and add something else in there. But yeah, keep coming back, keep refining, and maintain flexibility. So keep the journey adaptable to client expectations and business growth. So you may have put together an amazing journey map. It's very detailed, it's very in-depth, and it might be all wrong. Honestly, it's a possibility, probably not. But again, as we said in the previous video, it's all about what the client wants. So it may seem awesome at the time, but then when you go out and put it out in the world, the market doesn't like it. So it is a possibility, or they don't like a part of it. So we need to be flexible. We need to come back, make changes as we do, and make sure that really meets the client expectations and allows you to grow your business. We need to sort of strike a balance there. This is where automation comes in, because your journey might be to call every lead within 5 minutes of them signing up for the lead magnet. And if you're doing that manually with a personalized call, that probably isn't scalable. It definitely isn't scalable if you end up getting hundreds of leads, which hopefully you do. So we'd have to look at how we're going to scale that. Maybe we are flexible and change that to an email or a text message, or maybe you hire appointment setters, hire a VA to make those calls for you. It really does depend on your needs. Of course, I'm going to go the automation route. That's what I recommend because that's what I know and that's what I'm good at. Okay, next steps. The next steps for you. What I would like you to do next and what I think you should do next. Congratulations! Well done on creating your client journey map. So this isn't really a next step, but take a minute. Celebrate. You've come through this whole thing. You've built something. You've built a tool that will serve your business if used correctly. So go through it, keep it in mind, and be proud of yourself. So many businesses don't bother to do this. They just keep it all in their head. They try and do everything all at once, and it's just, they get overwhelmed. Of course they do. Maybe that's what you've been doing and that's why you're here, and now you don't need to get overwhelmed anymore, at least not about this. There are other things you'll get overwhelmed by. Don't worry, they'll come up. They always do. But honestly, truly, congratulations. Well done. I am proud of you for making it this far and for building something out. It's not easy. I try and make it as easy as possible, but I understand it's difficult. Now, a free mapping review, one-on-one session to review and optimize your journey map. So because you've made it this far and because I'm so proud of you, book in a call with me. You'll see a link down below. Book that in. More than happy to go over it with you, and we'll check it out. We'll see what we can do to make it better, how it's all clicking, how it's all working together. We can bounce some ideas of how to implement certain things. Maybe it's awesome, and all I'll do in the call is just say, good job, well done, this is fantastic. I try to be very positive, so I might just say that anyway. But no, I'll be honest with you. Book it in. I'd love to see it. And unlock more with value multiplied. So join my paid community for advanced tools and in-depth tutorials on automation and CRM integration. So yes, I'm selling something. Sorry. I'm not sorry. So my paid community, value multiplied, I'll just bring it up here. You can have a look at it. Honestly, at this point in time, it's still in build. But here's what's involved. There'll be a link below. So here's what you get. More clients with less effort. You access a high-level CRM with a pre-built template designed for coaches. Save time and reduce stress. Steady business growth. Personalized support. Money-back guarantee. It's $97 a month US. And the reason for that is, I'm just going to put my high-level hat on. All right, I've got my high-level hat on now. So $97 a month is the price of the high-level CRM. That's the only reason I'm charging for this, is because this CRM is so powerful. It's valuable. It'll be a great way to implement your system, your journey map. And I build exclusively within HighLevel. So all of my automations that will be in this paid community will be HighLevel specific. Now, in the free community, I can help you with some tips and tricks on other automations, how to map them out. But if you want something that is pre-built, aligned to the client journey that I'm building and is ready to go, you can get that here. And just a quick look at the value of HighLevel itself. You can see some of the features here. So CRM and pipeline management, unlimited sales funnels, a website builder, surveys and forms, email marketing, SMS, bookings and appointments, all your calendars in there. You can get rid of Calendly. Workflow automations, I like that. Courses and products, you can build them in there. I recommend School for that. And the same with communities down below. Call tracking, reputation management, tracking and analytics, document signing, all of this. So you can see with other tools, that would be up to $7,111 per month. With HighLevel, it's $297 a month. But with my version of HighLevel that I'm going to give to you, it is $97 a month. And that's pre-built with a template. Honestly, I'm building that now. And the next course in line with this will be all about how to build the automations in there. So that's what's available in my paid community, $97 US a month. Really, it's a no-brainer, because if you wanted to get this software, high level, it's the same price. So pay me instead of paying them, and you'll get all the help in the world that I can give you as well. So that's my pitch for that. If you're unsure about any of it, we can talk about it. Feel free to book in a call. But yeah, there is plenty in there, and there'll be much more advanced tools in there. Now, if you're not sure about joining the community, but you want high level anyway, you think it looks cool, I'll have an affiliate link down below. Check it out, and I'll unlock a bonus for you, which I haven't decided on, if you sign up through my affiliate link. All right, so summary of what we've covered today. Implementing your journey map, how to get it off the ground, iteration and flexibility. So coming back to your journey map, covering it off. I'm going to take off my high level hat now. We're past that. And next steps for you. So yeah, book in that call. Next steps, action steps for you. Take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? Are you excited to implement? I hope you are. A little bit nervous, a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe could use some help with it. But take a minute, relax, be proud of yourself as well. You've made huge strides in putting this all together. I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. Implement your journey map. Start with the core phases and expand gradually. It's not a race. Make sure you get it right. Book your review session. So schedule your complimentary call with me. We'll talk about that journey map. We'll look into it. We'll go through all the phases that you've got set up. Maybe we'll find some different detours that you haven't considered. It's always great to have a second set of eyes on it. And share with value add. So share your implementation plan with the community. Talk to other people. Find out what they've done. Tell them what you're going to do and see if anyone has any feedback on it. So the quote for the day: plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. We can have all the plans in the world. If we don't take action on them, they are useless. And that's Peter Drucker, management consultant and author. So please, if you've gotten value out of this course, leave a testimonial. I would really appreciate it. I'll give you all the love in the world. Thank you very much. And let's make it happen. And this time we're really making it happen because we're implementing. We're getting things out live in the world. We've done all this drafting and drawing, and now it's time to publish. Looking forward to see what you do. Thanks. Bye. Hello again. Just a quick bonus video here to go over high level and a bit of how it works. So I just thought I'd show this to you because in the previous video I just sort of told you about some of the functionality, and it's always better to show than tell. I got a bit excited though in that video, and I wanted to just fly through it. So I'll keep this brief. But here's what we've got in high level. So as you come in, you've got a launch pad here that helps you get set up quickly. We've got a dashboard where we can keep track of everything. So we can't see much here, but you can see our funnel, any tasks, any manual actions. There's even, if you integrate Google, you've got Google Analytics reports, you've got your Facebook ads, some sales efficiency. That's very handy stuff. Your opportunities. We've got our conversation tab here. So in here, this is where we can communicate with our leads and clients. We've got email there. Also, when we connect more things up, we can message through SMS, Facebook, Instagram, anything your heart desires. Not anything. We can't do telepathic conversations, but we can do phone calls. We can do voicemails as well. Calendars are in there. So if you're using Calendly, TidyCal, whatever, don't need to pay for that software anymore. You can integrate your calendars directly into the CRM here. So it really is an all-in-one CRM. Everything you need to run your business can be run through high level. It just depends on how much you want to do. From a foundational level for a coaching business, everything you need is here. We'll go through it quickly. There's Zoom integration as well, or Google Meet. So you have your calendar there, all set up. People book in sessions with you. It automatically generates a Zoom link or a Google Meet link. Everything's ready to go. Nice and easy. We've got our list of contacts here. So this is where we can see everybody. This is a test account, so there's not very many people in here. But yeah, you can keep track of all your contacts in here. You can put tags on them, create smart lists to separate and segment the list. So you can tell the difference between who's a lead and who's a customer. Always helpful. opportunities. So this is where you build out your pipeline. So you can see we've got the different stages here. So lead magnets downloaded, auto disqualify, qualified, call booked, no show, no offer. So we've got a full list here. You can customize this and set it up yourself. And as they progress to the different stages, you're able to see how many people are in each different stage and see who converts and who doesn't. Keep track of your actual metrics there that align with your client journey. Payments. So this is where we've got invoicing, documents and contracts like your coaching agreement, subscriptions, payment links, transaction tracking. We build out products, and this integrates directly with Stripe, as well as a couple of different other payment providers as well. They keep adding more in here. So we've got Stripe, PayPal, Square. There's probably even more. Yeah, look at all these different ways to make payments. I like to use Stripe. It's just simple. I know some people don't like it. You can add coupons. We've got our marketing tab here. So this loads up. Look at this. Connect Facebook, connect Instagram, LinkedIn, X, TikTok, YouTube, Google My Business, Pinterest. And you can schedule your posts on here. You can also send email campaigns. We've got templates. We've even got brand new feature, brand boards. Make it really easy to design your website, which we'll look at in a second. But you can just put in your details here with your text, colors, other brand essentials, logos, all of that. Make it really easy to build out your funnel and your website. Automation. This is my favorite part. You might be able to tell I'm an automation nerd. But this is where we've got, we can build out email templates, appointment reminders. I've even built out a Facebook Messenger auto reply, welcome emails, all sorts of things. If we have a look, it's even got some inbuilt recipes here. So we can build an email drip sequence. We can build an IVR if we're that fancy. Facebook comment automation, review requests, no-show nurture, all sorts, a birthday template. If you've got their date of birth in the file, it can trigger send an email on their birthday saying, hey, happy birthday. All sorts of stuff in here. These are just the recipes. Really, the possibilities are almost limitless as to what we can build in there. I'm currently working on something that will be a voicemail drop based on the first letter of someone's name. I think that'll be a bit of fun. Sites. So this is where you can build your funnels, your websites, your stores, blogs. You can integrate WordPress. We've got a client portal there. We've got a chat widget. That's super cool. QR codes, forms and surveys. Anything you want to do from a front-facing side of things, there's a lot of power in here. So things like Typeform, you wouldn't need that anymore. Let's say if you're using WordPress or you're using another website builder or you're using ClickFunnels, don't need any of that. We can build it all in here. Now we have a membership portal here. So this is where you can put together courses and communities. Now, obviously, you're on School right now. I recommend School, and we just integrate it here. I think the functionality is a bit better in School, and I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of Hormozy. I'm a fan of Sam Ovens. They're the owners of School, if you don't know. But yeah, that's why I'm here. But you have the option. If you want to do it through here, you've got courses, you've got communities, you've got certificates. It works. It works well. Media storage, upload all of your files. So anything you want here, you can even create stuff using AI. Reputation. So this is where all your reviews come together in one place, and you can keep track of them. So whether it's from Facebook, from Google reviews, a couple of other places as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can send it from anywhere. You can keep track of it here. You've got QR codes for it. You can send out a link to ask someone for a review or a testimonial. Then we've got overall reporting. So we've got sample data here. So your Google Ads reports if you're running Google Ads, Facebook Ads reports if you're running Facebook Ads, attribution. This will tell you where people are coming from. So there's no data here, but if you have your UTMs set up, we can tell where different people are coming from, where your lead flow is coming from. And if you're taking calls, we can put that in as well, and appointments. My eye is itchy. We've also got a lot of functionality with different apps to integrate here. I tend to avoid these. They're not necessary, but something else to look at as well quickly is we'll just jump into the settings. So this is where we've got things like automation notifications. If it fails, it'll let you know. That's super handy. It's where we set up our calendars. email service and domain integration, different phone numbers. So you can use phone numbers on here for SMS, phone calls, voicemail drops. We've got our reputation management here, custom fields and custom values. We can build it out. Your domains, so building your website here, and here we've got integrations. Oh, Shippo's a new one. So this is where you can integrate your Google account, your Facebook account. It even has Facebook forms fields mapping. So if you're running ads on Facebook to a Facebook form, and right now you're probably using Zapier or something to get that over into your CRM, there's native integration here. You don't need that. What else have we got? There's some new stuff happening here. Labs is always interesting. There's new features coming out all the time. So things like time zone updates for calendar appointments. Ads manager. So a whole lot of information here, a whole lot of new stuff. They're building on this all the time. So if you're using multiple platforms, if you're using maybe Calendly in a Google Sheet, I would highly recommend putting this together. I'll have my affiliate link in the description below, as well as the link to my paid community where GoHighLevel is included, as well as a course on how to set everything up in it, and access to myself and other community members where we can work together, put something together for you to really turn that client journey map into a much bigger and better thing. Make it a reality. Make it happen. Millions of people use GoHighLevel. Max Persson, the winner of the school games twice, so he had the highest performing community on school in 2 different months, uses this. It's a game changer. It's changed my business. It can change yours too. So any questions, let me know. If you're not too sure about it, if you're tossing it up, I'm more than happy to do a walkthrough with you. But yeah, just want to go into a bit more detail in this video. It's a bit of a bonus and a bit of a sales pitch, I know. But I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was valuable for you, if I didn't think this could change the way you operate your business. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough. If you have any questions, let me know. Links in the description down below to get started. With the affiliate link as well, you get a 30-day free trial. So with my community, you do have to pay. They don't have free trials on school yet, but you'll get a big head start if you go through my community. But free trial, check it out. 30 days. If you don't like it, get rid of it. If you fall in love with it like I have, fantastic. All right, appreciate your time. See ya.